Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
What's up, everybody? This is the Information Man. Welcome to the show today. We're going to get at it strong and hard. We're going to talk about the Patrick Lyoya situation in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I have a brother with me today, goes by the name of Freedmen Media. He is from Michigan, so you're going to get information from ground level. I have some videos, footage that maybe you haven't seen all of it, the different angles that we're going to show you today. I know YouTube is not going to monetize this today when I show these different clips of the video, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And my man Freedmen Media and we're going to analyze this. He's going to tell you a little bit about how the lay of the land is in Michigan. Okay. We're going to talk to you about the immigrant population, how that's growing in America. And you see on my thumbnail, and I mean exactly what I just said, black people in America who have been born here. We have lived through 400 to 500 years of the American nightmare when it comes to the policing, which comes out of slave patrols, and they hunt after black men. Immigrants from Africa are the largest immigrant population that's coming into the United States going into the year 2060. Black people in America have tried to tell our black immigrant brothers and sisters that America is not all peaches and cream. Sometimes we get in discussions and back and forth debates where sometimes our brothers and sisters from other parts of the world may say, look, I came here, my family came here, I worked hard. What's wrong with you Americans? Why can't you black Americans do A, B, and C? And we try to explain to them the institutionalized racism that goes on in America, some of how we are treated. And what happens is now that they are experiencing what black people who have been born here in America have always known, ladies and gentlemen, always have known. And we're trying to say to our immigrant brothers and sisters, whether it be from the Caribbean or Africa, that you better beware of some of these circumstances that black people have been going through in this country for a very long time. Black men having their life taken away. Now, this family, the Patrick Lyoya family, I'm going to tell you something in just a moment, because they were given a bill of goods when they came to this country. And I do mean a bill of goods. I think it's a damn shame what happened to him, but it is indicative of the policing systems here in America that has been it has been horrible for black males in particular who have been slain and taken out by cops in this country. With that said, welcome to the Information Man Experience. Let's get at it.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Please make sure to subscribe to this channel.
Tell the truth.
make sure to subscribe to his channel.
The Information Man Show. Freedom Media. Freeman Media. On with me live today. Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Yeah. All right. Testing. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Information Man.
Tell the truth.
All right, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me. You know, sound is always the ultimate thing that you are concerned about. If you can hear me, I feel like my mic is not where it needs to be. Let me go into my system. It is set up where it needs to be right there. And everybody, please do me the favor and put a 1 in the chat room if you can hear the audio, if the audio is coming through nice and clear. I want to thank Brother Keith Weston, who's just given me a $50 super chat. I appreciate that. He says, much respect due Information Man Show. Keep doing what you do. My good brother, B1, Black First, Black Love. Yes, Black First, Black Love. I want to thank everybody for being here. I hope you like the music introduction. I play it a little bit longer because when you do live streaming, you're trying to wait for people to come in as much as possible. It's different from when you do pre-produced videos. On my other channel, the Info Media channel live, make sure you subscribe to that channel if you want tips and tricks about how to build your YouTube channel, some of the things that work. On that channel, I do talk about how, you know, they've done studies to show that a lot of intros in the beginning hurts retention, but it's mainly, it's a bigger deal when you're doing pre-produced videos. Live streams, you can be a little bit more creative in this way as you look for people to come into the stream. And I thank you all that are out there, people that follow the show. I want you to do me the biggest favor. Use your cellular phones, your Android phones, your Apple phones, your tablet, your everything you've got in social media, and share this video. Get more people over here. If you have a YouTube channel yourself, share this in your community tab. Glorion Murray has given me a $20 super chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Give her a clap there. Her and Brother Weston gave me super chat. So thank you again for doing that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Now, what I want to do now, because we are on television as well, on Roku TV, BS3 Network. I'm a part of BS3 Network. I want to shout them out. Brother Ben, who's created this network, has brought me on board. And if you are at home and you have the Roku TV package, all you have to do is look for BS3 TV. VS3 Network. And you can find the Information Man Show on the Sunday package. So what I want to do is give them all the respect. And here are some of the promos.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts.
Definitely changing the way you listen to podcasts. And let me put their symbol up here next to me right there. So that's BS3 Network. I'm a part of that. And if you have the Roku package again.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
I'm on there. Very proud of that. And like I said, there's people who watch on different types of platforms. And to everybody watching me on Facebook, thank you. Whether it be Twitter, whether it be Twitch, thank you out there, wherever you are in the world. Make sure you share this. Let everybody know about the Information Man Show. Over here, we try to get to an analysis. We try to get to a critical evaluation of what's happening in our world today. And we try to get to a solution. And solutions are not effective unless we are working collectively. I was listening to my man, Farrell Says That, the other night. And he said in any time as black people, when we're talking about solutions, and you have another black person who enters the arena of the discussion and says, well, what is your solution? And you give a effective solution, and then they try to play it down. Farrell says he said that those type of Negroes are the Negroes that hold you back. They shouldn't be in the discussion. Get them out of the discussion. Period. Last week I did the reparation show. I had someone, I'm not going to name the name because they don't matter, but we had someone who left a goofy message in the comment section about, oh, you beta males talking about reparations. And didn't I just say last week, if you don't believe in reparations, if you're not a supporter of reparation, stay out of our business, stay out of our cipher, stay out of my cipher. If you don't believe in it, get your ass to the side and stay back in the back seat. And let those that are working towards something that can benefit us and our kids in the future, because if we had black folks like you back in slavery, we would still be in slavery, because you'll be the first one with your hands out if there ever was to be cut of check or anything like that. So if you don't believe in it, stay out of the cipher, stay out of the messaging, stay away from it. You are a nomad. Now, before I bring in my guest, Brother Freedmen Media, to talk about this issue around Patrick Lyoya and what happened to him in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it's a damn shame, but it's a lesson to be learned for our immigrant brothers and sisters here, a lesson to be learned for them, because America isn't the peaches and cream.
Tell the truth.
That they've been sold a bill of goods on. Now, what I want to do, as a side note to where we're going in our discussion today, ladies and gentlemen, we already know, this is going to take me just only a few minutes. We already know about this individual, James. This is the individual that they caught in the subway situation where he shot 13 people were injured. He put out smoke bombs, and we know that this man has been all over YouTube for some time. And I'm just glad that I'm not associated with this man, that I've never had him on my panels. I've never interviewed him. I have nothing to do with it. We, as content creators, have a responsibility. When you listen to the stuff that James was saying in his videos before YouTube got rid of it. By the way, YouTube, you know what? They make me laugh because this man had his channel up and they didn't delete his channel until after this situation happened. Now all of a sudden they want to delete his channel when YouTube knew that he was talking all this nonsense. This man hated his family. He hated black women. He hated black men. He was on both sides of the argument of hate. And his talking points are many of the talking points that you hear within black YouTube, with certain channels talking these same talking points. And by the way, it is true. The FBI, whatever you want to call it, they've been investigating. So this is why you have to understand that the company that you keep is very important. Certainly, you can't blame the actions of this man on other people, because we don't control anybody We don't control anybody and what they're going to do. However, you can put out messages that can resonate in people's mind, that can fester them if they already got something screwball in their head. And this man talked about he suffered from post-traumatic stress. This man was on YouTube pushing it. I was listening to my man, brother Phil Scott of the Avive Show. Y'all remember him. He had a great audio podcast he did, and he talked about this. This man was on YouTube. We have to be responsible for what we say in this mic, because there could be someone out there who's not screwed right, and they could take what you're saying literally and go out and do something. So we have to be responsible for the influence that we have with this microphone on people, and we need to evaluate the spaces that we hang out in, that we associate in, and what have you. And YouTube, we see a lot of this black man and black woman fighting back and forth with each other. I got a little news for you. It came in hot off the presses. YouTube is going to get rid of all of this. This situation that happened with this dude is only in a gateway to YouTube saying, you know what, I've had enough of this. We've had enough of this. We've had enough of it. We're going to crack down on these type of channels. We're going to crack down on the type of speech that people are putting out there, and we're going to censor them heavily. Not only that, we're going to bump you off the platform at the level that you can't ever come back on. So we got to watch what we're saying, because we got idiots like this. Now he's talking all of this talk. Look at him. He's clearly overweight. I can see why this man was frustrated. He can't get a woman. And you have too many people like him on the YouTube streets who run their mouth on these platforms, and deep down inside, they're an incel. They can't get women. They're out of shape. Look at this man. Look at this. And then here he is laughing goofily. And I'm going to tell you right now, as mental health personnel myself, and I've said this, there are people who are on YouTube who have mental health problems, and they bring their mental health problems to YouTube, and they haven't gone out and gotten any help for their issues, but they bring it to these social media platforms, not just YouTube, all of them. And then they hide behind their avatars, and then you're on panels talking to these nuts, arguing with these nuts. Don't argue with them, because you don't know what they got fired off in their head wrong. So this should be a lesson. Ladies and gentlemen. This man had serious problems. And this should be a lesson to all of us, that you just don't know where people's minds are on these damn platforms, if they even got their mind on straight. You just don't know. So with that said, that's enough of my pilly pulpit preaching here, but I just had to say that, and let's get into it right now. Let's bring on my man right now, the main man, Freedmen Media. Yes. All right, brother, what's going on?
Tell the truth.
All right, let's get at it. I think everybody...
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah, you're unmuted now. I just had to go through a couple of things, because I've been learning a lot about that guy, James, that did what he did in New York, in the subways. And of course, YouTube scrubbed, his channel away, but there's people who have copies of what he was talking about. And he was talking a lot of buffoonery, a lot of shenuggery, and all the stuff that he was talking, the talking points, was the stuff that you get out for YouTube.
Absolutely.
And check this out. In my 52 years, the black men that I've been around don't talk the shenanigans that you hear on YouTube from my experience. And I'm talking black men that are doing things in the world. Okay. This language, we believe that this language that goes on these streets is the language of the black community all over. No, this is the language of a small number of people who have issues, and they use YouTube to vent their problems. And some of these folks have mental health problems. That's why that's why you need to stop wasting your time getting up on panels with all these people that you don't really know, that hide behind avatars, and they're talking strange. They might have mental health problems. So with that said, let's talk about the case, brother. Let everybody know who you are, where you live, and your understanding of the makeup of Michigan. And before I do that, let me just shout a few people out, because there's people that have been waiting patiently for us to go live. We've got Indian Exposed Investigation, Old Reliable. We got Mo Ron in the house, Con Science. Mo Ron, I hope I can say that correct, brother. Peace to you. I'm not saying the name right. Back to the basics. Let me put this brother up here. This is a deep brother right here. He has a good channel. And definitely gave me all the respect and greetings. So greetings to you, brother. Con, what's going on? Mo Ron, what's going on, brother? We got Keith Weston. We got Steve. We got Steve Gilmore. What's going on, Steve Gilmore? Thank you, brother. I subscribe to your channel. And you're a very deep brother, very insightful brother, and I look forward to listening to you. But however, I'm going to say this again, folks. If you're listening to people on YouTube and they make no sense and they sound kind of nutty, get away from them. That's just my opinion. You may want to rethink some things, because that dude James was on the YouTube streets for quite some time. I'm just glad that I've never had any relations with that dude in terms of building on a platform with him or anything like that. Just craziness. And he didn't like black folks either. So when anybody out there talking about, oh, he went out there to target white. No, he didn't like white men. He didn't like black men. He didn't like black women. The dude had all kind of problems. Then we got Tiffany Jackson. We got Lady Leg 75, Beverly Palmas. Beverly Palmas, thank you for giving me the Cash App just a week ago. I didn't have a chance to formally thank you for that, but I thank you now. I got the $5 Cash App, and I appreciate that. We got Natural, who says right. She's from Chi-Town. And then who else do we have? Oh, we got my man, and I got to give him some respect here. We got my man, Guy Nollywood Jr. saying Hotep Information Man in chat. Hey, good to see you, brother, over here. And then we got somebody from the Facebook streets just trying to give me a super long message, and I'm not putting that. What is this? I'm not putting this. I mean, Love Ben. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I think I got to put this up. Love Ben, take your time and read this testimony. Do not ignore or save other lives by already sharing this testimony. This is really taking a serious whole belief. All right. We're talking about what happened to the brother in the African brother who was a immigrant in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're not talking about, that's the topic tonight. Anything else is just a distraction right now. Let's see. The real Aaron Collins has come over. Thank you, my brother. And let me see what else we got. We got 22 Ronin coming in the house. We got a lady 747, and people are just coming in right at time. Do me a favor, folks, as you come in and out, share the video in your social media as bring more people over here. That's a little trick. You get people to say things in the chat room. It actually cranks the algorithms up. I'll be talking about that on Info Media Live. Make sure you subscribe to Info Media Live. That's the content channel. My goal is to get to 300 subscribers over there. Then I'll start going live on that channel on Saturday mornings. And then I'm going to build it up till I get to 1,000 and keep it going. And the content over there will grow slowly but surely, because it's all evergreen content that will last forever. It's not trending content. So that channel has the potential to grow very big, because it's not polarizing content. It's something that everybody would like to know. Now, let's get to the point here. Brother Freedman, let everybody know again who you are, your relationship to this place called Michigan.
Well, I go by Brother Shannon, I guess, in the podcasting world. Freedmen Media is my channel. You can subscribe or follow me around Twitter, Freedmen Media, IG, Freedmen Media, YouTube, Freedmen Media, and I'm pretty consistent on the way I stand. So, you're not going to see no goofy shit on my channels, on my pages. I'm pretty consistent on where I stand. I speak for, myself, but I speak as a freedman. I'm more than a black man. I am not an African American. I am politically classified as a freedman, so I have to live as a freedman. And it took me a long time to get here, brother. You know where my journey has been with the whole ADOS situation and all that stuff. And we are politically classified as freedmen, and people that don't want to identify as such, I get it, because you have to kind of be indoctrinated into this lifestyle, just like we were indoctrinated into being Afro-Americans or African-Americans or Black. Hell, we were indoctrinated into being niggers, but my big thing now is to live truthfully and to live with transparency. And the best way for me to do that is to know really who I am, and I know people say, well, oh, you should change your name because you still got a slave master's name and all that. First things first, let's know who we are, because I don't need to go around changing my name if I'm not living that way. I'm gonna live the way I live, and my name was given to me by, truthfully, my cousins and my parents, but that doesn't have anything to do with the way I work out here, and I don't think it gives me any less progressiveness. But I was born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We're a couple hours east of Grand Rapids, Michigan, where this tragedy it did take place, and it is a tragedy because I never want to see a Black man fall. I never want to see any man fall unless it's deserving. I will always put a pin in that unless it's deserving. But this young brother should still be amongst the living. We obviously have seen the videos and various angles and heard various parts of the audio. We know why he's not here. We've seen that. But there's absolutely no reason why he needed a kill shot to the back of the head, an execution shot. And, I would definitely want to speak a little bit on that for people who don't know about that situation. But there's some other things that we were talking about, early in the week when we talked about possibly putting this together. There's a bigger dynamic now because this is what we have warned.
Yes.
We have warned Black immigrants, African, Caribbean, whether you come from the UK, you're not running away from anything when you come to the US. You're running into it. You are running into it. And what people don't seem to understand is people want to talk about Adolf Hitler and how bad Adolf Hitler was. Adolf Hitler came to America to learn the Jim Crow laws. Adolf Hitler came here to learn how to systemically be able to fuck people up. Let's just call that. I mean, Adolf Hitler just didn't do that because he was a mean person. He wanted to know how to do it systemically. He probably wanted to learn how to do it on a generational level, because it's more than just people not being nice to you. When people aren't nice to you, that's one thing. All right. When people aren't nice to you, that's one thing. But when people systemically hold a faction of people down for over 400 years, that takes hell of a doing. And that's what happened. So where we are in 2022, we're still experiencing that type of fare. And what we now know about the Lyoya family is that they came here from the Congo in 2014. So 8 years ago, they left chaos and violence and mayhem to come to the United States seeking a better life, seeking to live the American dream. But they didn't understand that they were leaving chaos, violence, and mayhem, and they were entering chaos, violence, and mayhem. I think you mentioned you're 52. I'm 52. We've been in war damn near our whole lives. America has been in war nearly our whole lives. So what's more chaotic? What's more violent than that, than a country that is constantly beefing with another country or continent or whatever? America is a very violent country. It's a very racist country. And now we've got Grand Rapids with the latest. Well, there could have been one since then. We just haven't heard it as polarized. But the latest execution of a Black man, there's no way that Patrick Lyoya should be dead right now. Incarcerated, maybe. In a hospital, possibly. But dead, I don't think so. And go ahead.
Let me put this up. Speaking of what you're saying, this goes right to, because I did some research today.
Sure.
This speaks to what you're talking about. Let me put this up right here. This is from the family. I think they gave a press release came out of Detroit Free Press. And the family, I think it was the mother of Patrick Lyoya, gave this statement. And I'm just going to paraphrase what I have here, ladies and gentlemen. They told us that in America, there is peace. There is safety. You're not going to see killing anymore. That's it. Was the basics basically a safe haven. So basically, this particular immigrant family, they were under this belief, or they said that they were told when they got here, that they didn't have to worry about tyranny, that they were in a safe space now. They didn't have to worry about anything happening to them. And many black immigrants are given this sort of line, right? This is what they were told. And I can understand why they feel that way, because they came from a worn, torn situation. Let me put this back up here. I mentioned this earlier. The black immigrants from Africa in particular, are the fastest growing immigrant population. They're going to be dominating going into the year 2060, everybody. Black immigrants and refugees who come to the United States to escape violence only to find themselves vulnerable to the same brutality and racism that African Americans encounter from police as well. This is what they've got to understand.
Tell the truth.
And instead of when they come over here, and I'm not saying all black immigrants now, okay? I'm not indicting all black immigrants, but those who tend to say, what's wrong with black Americans? I came over here and pull up my bootstrap and I go to college. By the way, a lot of them go to historical black colleges that were built by freedmen, but that's another story. But they come over here and they don't want to hear our story when we're telling them how America really works. And then what happens is they get a wake-up call. Let me put this up here. This is very important to start the show off with. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. About 4.6 million, or 1 in 10 black people living in America, are immigrants, according to a January report from Pew Research Center. This is brand new, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me read this part, because, we want to educate people here. We're not just, this is not a channel where we just get into a bunch of nonsense. Okay. Although there are only 7% of the non-citizen population, black immigrants make up 20% of those that are deportation. They're deported from this country on criminal grounds, according to a 2018 Black Alliance for Just Immigrant report. So when immigrants come here and they decide to deport immigrants in this country, we always think it's the face of people that are Mexican, Latino, something of that nature. Or no. The majority of people who get themselves booted out of here are African immigrants. You saw what happened in the Ukraine when when the Africans wanted to get out of the Ukraine. They said, Africans, get yourself back. We're taking the Europeans. Hell, we'll even take the East Indians over you before we'll take your black you-know-what. The reason why I'm saying this, when, Brother Freeman, when Patrick Lyoya encountered this race soldier, that race soldier didn't give a damn about where he came from in the world. And this is what black immigrants have to understand, and even black people in America, is that they look at us all the same.
Absolutely. We're one big nigga.
Right. So even though he said to Patrick, and we're going to show some video footage today, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all might as well pop your popcorn, get your drinks, set back. We're going to give you a program that you're going to learn something today. When Patrick encountered him, what the cop said, he said, do you speak English? He clearly understood that the dude didn't speak English in the way that most American blacks can speak it, right? But did it stop him from treating him like he did do any other black man or woman or child? No. And this is the lesson. And I feel bad for his mother, his father. As you can see right here, I have his father who's holding a picture of him. I feel bad for the family, because what they just experienced is what black Americans in America have experienced for over 500 years. And our immigrant brothers and sisters, they better start figuring out how they can get on code with us, because we know where the bodies are buried. We know where all the ditches are. We know how this mother effer works more than anybody who comes to this country. Black people in America, we know how America gets down and operates. Facts on top of goddamn facts. Go ahead, Freeman.
So, reading those entries that you had there, when they said we were going to escape violence, we were going to escape this, and we wouldn't be encountering this anymore. I want to know, was that a group session? Like when they all came over here, were they all in some big room? Because I know they couldn't have been just looking at black folks. and telling them that just because they had fled one violent territory, that they weren't going to encounter this in another black territory or in another territory, because the same things happen over here. It may not happen in the same ways, but it happens here too. Now, obviously, that's not a good picture to paint when you're coming over here. You want to sell a better picture of America. But unfortunately, when people do come over here from places like, whether it be the Congo, Nigeria, this, that, and the other, there's a certain ideology that they have of Native Black Americans, freedmen, you know, and they look at us through a certain lens, and looking at us through that certain lens, when they come over here and see that 99.9% of us don't live the way that they think of us, now we didn't do good enough. We haven't done enough, you know, and they look down on us. And with that entry was cute that she said, but did she also talk about the entry where they told them to stay away from Black Americans? Because most Africans who immigrate over here are told to stay clear of Native Black Americans. They don't want you dealing with Native Black Americans because that will form unity. The main reason that they don't want Black immigrants to come over here and align with Native Black Americans is because that forms unity. First and foremost, they don't like that. They don't want that. They want you to be an American, but they don't want you to be a Black American. You can even be an African American, but we all know the guys behind the word African American. So when people come over here and they're told, yeah, you're not going to see violence the way you saw it over here. Oh, you sure won't. It's not going to happen the way you saw it over there, but it will happen like it happened to Patrick Lyoya, like it happened to Freddie Gray, like it happened to Eric Garner, like it happened to Walter Scott, like it happened to Eric Harris, Terrence Crutcher. I mean, come on now. The list goes on. Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor. I'm sorry, I forgot George Floyd. The most polarizing person that's ever been killed in America now is George Floyd. That's crazy as fuck to me that we have the most polarized individual that's been killed by police that's happened, and it's just in the last 2 years. So all the people before George Floyd, they're not insignificant. But think about it. George Floyd's got fucking statues and benches and busts all over the country now. Now, granted, they're defaced because race soldiers have walked up on him and spray painted him and defecated on him and did all kinds of shit. Now, ain't nobody got arrested for that shit. But try to go knock over a motherfucking Robert E. Lee statue. Your ass going to jail.
Right. Let me say peace and thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
From Larry, Anything Goes, LLC. And thank you for the super chat that you gave me a week ago. I didn't get a chance to shout you out like I should have because there was so much going on. I thank you. Look, everybody in the chat room. We got Real Aaron Collins, Keith Weston, Deborah Guns in the house. Everybody that's here, Elegant Wife is in the house. All of you that are rocking with us. I'm just going to make this clear. I'm not hating on immigrants because I believe that we do need to develop better relations with our brothers and sisters from the continent of Africa and from the Caribbean. What I'm simply saying, and he's right, is that there are some immigrants that come here and they are told to stay away from Black Americans. Matter of fact, Freeman, I had a young man that I talked to on YouTube who was an immigrant, came into the country from Liberia, and we know that Liberia is one of the nations in the continent of Africa that was built by Black people who left America back to Africa and built Liberia, right? And he told me as a young man when he came into the country, and it was very recent, that yes, they did tell him to stay away from Black Americans. That was his experience. So there is some truth to what you're saying. It may be different for different folks that come over, but we do know that there is an area. Now, what I'm looking for right now, because I think people may not remember this, and I did a video about this. I'm trying to find, here it is. Here it is. I need y'all, Brother Freeman, are you familiar with Jimmy Carter? I believe it was in 1976 or somewhere in the 70s when he was president. It's called Memoranda 40. What was it? 6. Memoranda. Are you familiar with it? And if you're not, I'll tell you.
I've heard about it. I've heard actually Umar Johnson talk on it.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and put it in the chat room. Memoranda. Get my English together here. Memoranda. Damn it. 46 is a document, and your Jimmy Crack Corn, Jimmy Carter, you got peanuts? Jimmy Crack Corn, Jimmy Carter, and this government came up with a plan to try to keep black Americans away from the Africans, to destroy the relationship, because they knew that if we both united as one and we worked together in harmony for a goal, united, that it would be Catons, and in trouble, it would be trouble for the mayonnaise man. They would be in trouble. And they saw that it would build our infrastructure here politically, and it would help us economically to do business with them. So Memoranda 46 was all about keeping black people in America away from having a fruitful relationship with African people in the continent, because Africa is a continent made of many countries. What do you think about that, Freeman?
I mean, and I do, like I said, I remember hearing about it, and I heard Umar speak on it before, but you got to understand, when you go at 76, and I was only 6 years old right then, so I wasn't really that deep in the political streets. But my thing is, think back 10 years before that, and now you're in the midst of the civil rights movement.
Right.
You know, now you're in a situation and you're dealing with the Nation of Islam. You've got the Black Panthers coming along. You've got all kinds of stuff that's happening. And there was I'm talking about a heavy African accent on all of that. We heard Africa talked about in the Nation of Islam. We heard Martin Luther King used Africa a lot. They didn't want that alignment with Africans that were coming over here. And Martin Luther King brought a lot of Africans over here. They don't talk about that, how fruitful he was for Africans. And that's why it's so crazy to me, why they're so disrespectful, because then they want to up Martin Luther King, but then they want to down Native Black Americans. We're like, hell, if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, we wouldn't like your ass.
But see, Freeman, look at it like this. When I talk about Memoranda 46, that's what the whole goal is, to create dissension between us. That's what they want. They want us to hate on each other. Read what this sister is saying right here. I have to agree with her. We gotta be careful that we don't do the same thing to our immigrant brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora of the world. We don't do what we may accuse them of doing to us, because when we do that, we are now playing into what they want us to do, divide and conquer.
I have no problem with what the sister just typed there. So, so what she just said, unless you are in a community, African immigrants and Caribbean immigrants, please follow, not generalize them. Please follow, not general. Who am I? I'm supposed to follow African immigrants? I guess I need that broken down. It says, please follow, not generalize them. You are doing the same thing you accuse them of. But see, she doesn't know me. She's never seen my cast, because I've always said us and Africans, Caribbeans, anybody that looks like us, if we form a union, we have America. We own America at that point. And they know this. Right. Okay. So I understand her statement. But her statement is a tad bit ignorant based on my beliefs, because last night, was it last night? No, it was last night. Yeah, it was last night. Last night. I ate at a West African restaurant. I don't have nothing against Africans. I don't have nothing against Caribbean folk. What I have against, it's individuals who come over here and they think they're better than me. And I have worked commercially for over 30 years, and I've dealt with pretty much anybody that's come to this country, whether it's been legal, illegal, they came here to go to school, they ended up living here, they came here, they got married.
Okay, let me say this. She's saying that it was a typo, but let me also steer our comment. Yeah, it's all right. I'm looking at, I got it right here. She's saying it's a typo. Let me steer this though right here, Freeman, because I don't want to make this a show primarily about, well, this is what immigrants, this is what Black America. I want to stay focused on what happened to this brother, but you hit it on the nail. There are some in this country who do not listen to Black Americans when we warn them about exactly what happened to that young man. 26 years. He's a young man to me. I'm 52. So to me, he's a young man.
We got him doubled up. We got him
doubled up. Yeah. So when it comes to what the United States has done to divide us, and then our personal experiences that we did not like. What I try to do, because I've had some bad experiences too, but I try to say to myself personally, for me, that I say to myself, I don't want to generalize all brothers and sisters that are immigrants. I want to basically say that was the person that treated me like that. However, there is a problem. And I think part of the problem is that, one, they don't understand our history. We don't understand their history. So when they come over here, they don't really understand what black people have gone through, because that's not being broadcast in their country. And we're not getting all broadcast about what they're going through. So I think it becomes a level of disconnection from each other. And that's exactly what they wanted to do to us. Sure. Right. And then there's somebody who said that you have black people in South America. I certainly know that. Why? Because 88% or more of Brazil is made of black people. They took black people from the west coast of Africa. They dropped them into Brazil. And then from Brazil, 4% of black people were moved into America. That's why you have black people all over the diaspora of the world, because we were moved to different places in the world. Sure. Okay. Of course, there are black people who say, nah, we've always been here. We're native. We're this and that and all that kind of stuff. You can have whatever argument you want. My argument is that because we are global people, it don't really matter. I'm not a person, Freeman, who just brag about, well, my foot is here. Yeah, I recognize that black people are all over the world. However, I was born in America. So my experience is of a black man in America, not a black man in South America or even in Africa. So I can only speak from my point of view based on what I've experienced. And when it comes to the policing in this country, I don't know how many immigrants, black immigrants, understand where policing came from in America. They best to listen to us.
But they don't. But that's the whole point. See, and here's the thing, all due respect. I think we're getting off course. We're supposed to be talking about the Patrick Lyoya situation. Yeah. We're actually literally talking about her comment. And this is a misconception of a lot of people, because we speak very opinionated. We have two very opinionated personalities. And I know where you come from, and you know where I come from. That's why we're vibing right here. But the issue with it is, because we're not here to do divestment 101 tonight. You know, I think my biggest issue with anybody that comes into this country, I don't give a fuck if you look like me or if you mayonnaise. You respect me because I am a citizen here. I belong here. You just visiting. I'm a resident. You're an occupant. Sit your ass down. Get in line like everybody else. That's the problem when they come over here and they try to cut the line. Don't try to cut the line, because see, we've been in line over 400 plus years. You come over here and think you can get right to the front just because you over here on some grant, you over here on some visa. Fuck you. You get in line like everybody else. See, at one time it was just two. It was black and white. And then they start filtering in motherfuckers. Now, I know that there was people here, there, and everywhere. We're not here to talk about America and who was here and what, but I'm talking about discriminated and non-discriminated folks. It was black and white. Then you start infiltrating immigration, and you start having factions of people, whether it been Asians, Latinos, Caribbean people, Africans, and all of a sudden they start getting the set asides that were supposed to be set aside for the people who had been set aside. Us. People come over here based on civil rights, bruh. Right. They don't come to America based on nothing else. If there had never been a civil rights struggle, then this would be damn near still a third world country for black folks. And Africans, Caribbeans, and anybody else coming over here that's got melanin in their skin will be like, I ain't going over that motherfucker. Right. They're letting dogs loose, garden hoses, hanging people, this, that, and the other. Civil rights has opened the gates to everybody that comes over here. Period. Yeah. And who was civil rights set for? We was the only people getting fucked up. So we was the only people that needed to be civil, have people be civil to us. Right. Nobody else was getting fucked up the way we were getting fucked up back then. Right. So for Africans to come in here and Caribbean people to come in here, they don't have to deal with all the bloodshed. When you said it, they don't know our history and we don't know theirs. But you know what? I don't need to know theirs because I ain't going to Africa, goddammit. So I don't need to know theirs. But when they do come over here, they need to know about the 400 plus year struggle.
Right.
Because you can get a driver's license in 30 days once you come from the Congo. I had to wait 16 years, and I belong in this bitch.
Right.
You can get a voter registration card as soon as you get a driver's license in 30 days. I had to wait 18 years. If you're over 21, you can walk right into a liquor store with your new state ID that you just got when you got here, and you can buy liquor. I had to wait 21 years. I'm oppressed like a motherfucker. You came over here and got shit that I had to wait 16, 18, and 21 years for. Don't tell me that you know my life, because why would I have to wait and you don't have to wait? You know, why would you be able to come over here and get the same shit that I had to wait decades for? So they can kiss my ass when they come over here talking about y'all ain't doing good enough. Y'all ain't doing good enough. You only did good enough because somebody let you in. You ran and somebody let you in. I've been here, and I'm holding my own nuts. I ain't subsidized by the government not one fucking bit. They come over here and get Medicaid as soon as they get here because they got to get all them tetanus shots and all that crazy shit, and they instantly give them insurance. We got black people on the ground right now ain't got no insurance. How is that?
Well, my position is this: is that look. You got a country right now these United States have just given billions of dollars to the Ukrainians. Ukrainians are getting money. I just read an article last week that they got Ukrainians have passed not only the Mexicans, but the Haitians across the border. They got them in San Diego right now. They bypassed everybody to let them come into the country. So,
think about how they got here. The Ukrainians got flew over here.
They got flown over here.
They swimming over here and shit.
Right. But when the Haitians came over, we all saw how they treated the Haitians. But now nobody's talking about how the Ukrainians are getting special treatment. But let me do this. Let me read this here. And I want you to lay out the land of how things are in Michigan as it relates to the police and everything that took place down there. When Lyoya family arrived in the United States in 2014 after facing years of war, prosecution, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the refuge thought they had finally made it. And so I'm making this point right here to say the attitude, the thought that, hey, we have made it. And now they're in a situation where their child has been taken out of here, just as any of the freedmen in this country, like me and you, could have our child taken out of here. And like I said, again, we have warned and we have hit the alarm of you better wake up. America isn't this milk and honey place that you've been told it to be. So let us know about this area in Michigan, the policing down there. From what I understand, that the police down there pretty much have a history of rough housing black people like this.
So I can only speak on what I know and what I can speak on what people who have lived in Grand Rapids, because I never physically lived in Grand Rapids. I visited there several times, stayed overnight for some conventions or camps and things like that when I was coaching, but I've never lived there. But I do know this about Grand Rapids. It is a red city. It's a red territory, okay? And it's unfortunate that we've gotten to this red-blue thing, but, you know, when I say that, let me just give you this. The person that shot Patrick Lyoya is a 7-year police vet, and he makes $90,000 in Grand Rapids.
$90,000.
He makes $89,500. Now, I'd love to see a 7-year vet on the Detroit police officer make $89,500.
Right.
I'd like to see a 7-year vet in Ann Arbor, Michigan, make $89,500. In our state capital, make how the hell did he get $89,000 up out of Grand Rapids ass? He's a 7-year vet, and he driving around in a police car. He ain't even a detective. He ain't got no bars. He at 8 o'clock in the morning, he checking brothers out. So who gave him that salary? Who approved that salary to have him riding around being able to attack somebody? Because you've got the video. I sent you the video, and I'm not sure exactly which footage you're going to show.
What I did is, this is what I did. I chopped up some of the footage into little increments. So we're going to go, what I'm going to show you, ladies and gentlemen, today, and let me just do something real quick. I'm going to take center stage here.
Sure.
And go into
do you think?
So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, with the videos, we're going to show you the actual video where he's up close and personal with Brother Patrick. Then I'm going to show you another angle of the video where he's from afar, when he's getting out the police car from afar, when you see Patrick Lyoya get out of his car. Now, this is the thing I'm going to ask everybody in the chat room. You could take a vote right now. And let me say shout out to Raw B Privilege in the inside the chat room. Thank you for coming over. We got Black Nation here, Free Fly CCs, and we got the good sister here who started us off with a question, a thought that we got into a little bit earlier, and I appreciate you, sister. Let me give you a clap. We got TNBN, Mickey Bricks is in the house as well. What I want to do, folks, so from there, you're going to see the FAR approach. Then I'm going to show you what some of you might not have seen when they were trying to do when they were trying to substitute him. They were doing compressions on him, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So they were doing life compression, trying to revive him. By that time, it's too late. He got shot in the head. Then I'm going to show you a video where I guess whoever was in charge on the scene told the officers to do a swap test or check the car. And they all went up to the car with their guns ablazing as if there was some threat in the car. The brothers that were in the car were not a threat. You're going to see the video angle when the brothers in the car were telling the officer that he wasn't going to be a threat to the officer. And after the officer shot him in the head, the officer had the audacity at some point in time, and I'm going to have Freedmen talk about this, how he could have turned this the cam off, how the cams are designed not to turn off that easy. He's going to explain that to you. But you're going to see the part where the officer says, "Get back, get back." There's nobody around him. Those dudes were still in the car, filming with their cell phones, telling the officer, "What did you do, man?" And they were far away from him. So he's doing that so that when he goes to court and he has that recording, he can say, "Oh, they were surrounding me." Of course, the video will show that they weren't surrounding him. So this is just a hypocrisy that goes on, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back over here and get at it with the brother here. So I'm going to show that foot. I have all that stuff chopped up very nicely. Now,
I do want to cut in before we go into the video.
Go ahead.
You mentioned about the resuscitation attempts.
Yes.
We not only know that they were futile, but they were fake. Okay. Let me explain something to you. I get shot in the back of the head. I need somebody applying pressure to the back of my head to keep my brains from oozing out onto the sidewalk.
Right.
I don't think I need chest compressions just yet. Let's secure my head. And if they're doing chest compressions and all that, where he was, where's Patrick's head? Because we never saw them do anything at the top. He's shot in his head. If he's leaking out of his brains, you're not saving anything. You're not saving him. If anything, if you're doing chest compressions, you're pushing the blood right up to his head, right up to his brain. Because he's got a hole in his head now. Every orifice at that point, why do you hold the nose when you give mouth to mouth? So if he's got a hole in his head, what the hell are you doing chest compressions for? That was all fake. They knew he was dead. He put a bullet in his head, and that wasn't even him doing chest compressions. That was somebody else. He was dead when they got there. That was a lie. And all those people, they should be held accountable for that bullshit too, because that's a police cover-up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. The compressions that they gave him is because every year I have to be certified in these sort of rescue breaths and compressions, for my work. You're right. I think that they did this just for show, Freeman, just to make it look like they were trying to help this man. Let me just go ahead and play that footage right now for everybody to see this, just this small little bit right here. Let y'all see this. So they're doing compressions, rescue compressions. It's too late. You get shot in the head. Ain't no compressions bringing you back to life. See, now the other officer gets down, and there it is. That's the BS right there. You get shot in the head, ladies and gentlemen, you ain't coming back from nothing like that. You're in no man's land. Right. The officers, from my opinion, are doing what they have to do because they have to make it look like they're trying to resuscitate this man. You get shot in the head, you're not going to come back from something like that.
Right.
He probably was already gone from the time that bullet hit him in the back of the head like that. Sure. So I just wanted to show y'all a piece of that. Freedmen Media, can you explain to everybody the issue of the body cam? How all of a sudden he shut that off, or how did he shut it off? I mean, can you explain what you explained to me before?
So, and I didn't calculate how long the tussle went, but let's say, from the beginning of the struggle right at the car, and then Patrick got loose and then ran around the car. There was a whole engagement there. They were tussling. He got into the whole tasing him and grabbing him and trying to apprehend him and cuff him, and he was unsuccessful. Way more rigorous of a situation than how that ended. Mm-hmm. He was on top of him with Patrick's hands towards the ground, where his camera disengaged, but it never disengaged when he had full body contact with Patrick. There were several scenes where you saw Patrick's shirt up over his head. I'm sorry, but this is one of the sorriest motherfuckers in captivity. Because as a little kid, I remember when my brothers pulled my shirt up over my head and wrapped my arms up in it, I was disabled. Now, as a police officer, if you're not trained to be able to use someone's garments against you, then y'all ass need to get to the fucking hood somewhere. Because we always knew, hey, you can fuck somebody up by pulling their pants down and tightening their belt up, they can't walk. Or you pull their shirt up over their head and tie their sleeves in a knot. He couldn't get him in cuffs. Why didn't he use some other type of tactic? Because it ended up with a boot in the back of the head after he unsuccessfully tased him, unsuccessfully cuffed him, unsuccessfully doing everything. And
there's some people that think
disengaged, brother. The camera never disengaged until right before the kill shot.
Right. There's some people that feel that he should have just waited till his backup got there. Because look. Even if Patrick Lyoya would have ran off like he did and just ran down the street and got away from the officer had everything he needed to catch him. Yeah. He still had the car that would have still been there, and he still had his friends in the car who they could have took in and questioned to find out where he lived. They still had the plate that they said didn't match him. So they still had ways that they could have identified how to find this man. So therefore, it wasn't necessary. This was a routine traffic stop that should have never turned to this level. What's going on, True? And King Wage, I see you. This should have never happened. And Jason Moore, let's go ahead and look at the footage. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, let me do this preference before I play this footage. If you are squeamish and you do not want to see this, because I know YouTube is not going to monetize this video because this is very sensitive content. If you're squeamish, don't look at this footage. At least when it gets to the point where he shoots him in the back of the head. Okay, this is fair usage under the Fair Uses Acts of 107. Fair usage. I'm going to play this right now, and then we will talk about it. Now, before I do that, let me just do this real quick. I want to preface this because I think a lot of people, this is what I read. This is the police chief of Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is what their police department stands for. Did they do this in the treatment of Patrick Lyoya? I don't believe so. This is what they say. This is what they stand on. This is their chief, Eric Winstein. He says, your safety is our highest priority. Makes me laugh. This is what their motto is. Your safety is our highest priority. We will work together as a department in partnership with the community. Yeah, right. To ensure all people feel safe and are safe in Grand Rapids. Patrick Lyoya did not feel safe. Okay? Now, some of you in the chat room, I'm going to take a vote. Because there's people out there that's saying that he shouldn't have ran. That's why this is what happened to him. He shouldn't have got. My thing is, This is why you know he's an immigrant brother and not an American black man. Because in America, as black men and women, we know that when you deal with police, you do not get out of your car like that. We have been taught by our moms and our dads especially that you relax, you put your hands up on the steering wheel, you don't do any kind of movement that would make that cop think that he could just pull out a gun and shoot you. Black people in America, we know this, that you don't get out of the car. Because in that cop's mind, even if you're not a threat, now he can use that as an argument in court when this goes to court to say, I believe that he was a threat because he got out of the car and he did not follow a lawful order. Now, let me move on with their manifesto here. To ensure all people feel safe and are safe in Grand Rapids, we are committed to being a effective, inclusive, and modern police department and advanced public safety. That's a lie because you didn't use public safety with him. The man had no weapons. I don't even think the man had any warrants for his arrest other than some questionable tags on the car or license plate he said didn't match up with him. Okay. Effective, inclusive, now safety while earning the trust and the pride of those we serve. You don't have the trust of black people in Grand Rapids. No, you don't. I'm going to tell you why, folks. Let me put this up here real quick. This is why you don't have the trust of black people in Michigan. Do you all know that black people are 3.8 times more likely to be killed by police than white people in Michigan? Police killed per 1 million per a million people in Michigan between 2013 and 2022, ladies and gentlemen. Over here, you get facts. You don't get window. Okay. Now, let me go into this little portion right here. As I am going to finish up this part right here. I'm going to put this on the screen. Overall, black people are most likely to be killed by police, 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people. 1.3 times more likely to be killed by police unarmed compared to white people. You see that on the screen? I've talked about this before in the past. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Safe 100. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for that super sticker chat. I appreciate that. So black people are 1.3 times more likely to be shot unarmed compared to white people, and 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people. And as I said before, as an extra bonus, that in Michigan, put that back up, black people are 3.8 times more likely to be killed by police than white people in the state of Michigan. This is facts. This is truth.
Tell the truth.
And let me take this off the screen here, like so, and read some more of the manifesto. Okay. We value service delivered with compassion. No, there was no compassion.
Tell the truth.
There was no compassion. No. Because if he was compassion, he would have waited for his backup, let the man run off. He did not serve a threat to the officer if he's running away from the officer. However, I would say that most black Americans who have been born in America, we know that the thing that you don't do is get out of your car. That's one thing you don't do, because we know that these cops are very trigger happy at times. Okay. We value the courage and equality and providing fair, transparent, and accountability in all we do. BS, this cop who shot him in the back of the head, all of a sudden he turns off his cam. I am proud to learn this department, to lead this department, and to serve Grand Rapids. It's laughable. It's laughable, ladies and gentlemen. Laughable. Freedmen Media, before I go to the video, you can see that that's the words of their police chief that they're standing by, or that's the words that he says. That does not exemplify what this dude did on, what was this, April 4th. This happened a whole week ago before we even knew about this, man. Right?
It did. And, you know, the big problem, of it was, obviously, sure, he got shot.
and they were trying to suppress it. I'm glad that his father did have the foresight to come out and get public with it. There was even a county commissioner who I'm not sure still, I've never heard them disclose how he saw the video, but he saw the video before anybody saw the video and he spoke on it. Then there was somebody else who saw the video and they started speaking up. And I'm not sure if this really makes the news the way it made it had you not heard the initial outcry of the parents and the other individual, the county commissioner, because it was pretty much being swept up under the rug. They hadn't put him on administrative leave. Things were pretty much, as I know, going about as normal, which I don't understand, because I know police officers get in all types of trouble. Then they got to drop, they got to do the toxicology. Just how is this guy just still maneuvering about? And they weren't talking about him. Now, those words, those templated words that you actually read from the police chief, he's a new police chief in Grand Rapids. A lot of people don't know that. He's a newer police chief. He had problems in Chicago.
What?
He is a troubled police chief.
What?
Okay? I'm just looking right now. Facing concerns about his Chicago background, new Grand Rapids police chief says it taught him to deal with challenges. Now, anybody that just got a new job, he's at the top of the food chain, and he felt the need to make a statement on his past. He says it taught him to deal with challenges. So he must have had some shit. I never dug into this guy's past, but that's the reason why he said he wasn't going to give the shooter's name out unless charges were going to be brought. He was trying to withhold the race soldier's name. He was trying to make sure he was protected because the union was going to make sure he got his bread, but he was protecting the race soldier from the jump. Now, when I just went down and just combed through this article, when they had to bring some things about him to the public, they said he had they said, according to a tally conducted by the city, there were 107 positive comments about Winstrom, 90 negative, and 15 neutral. So you had 107 positive, 90 negative, and 15 neutral. So them 15 neutral is really negative. They just didn't want to say nothing negative, so they stayed in the middle. So to me, it's 107 to 105. Good to bad. How the hell y'all let him become y'all police chief? And everybody know he dirty. He was dirty in Chicago. So Grand Rapids might be getting what they deserve by bringing Eric Winstrom in. So
Eric Winston.
This police chief. And I don't like that bald head anyway. I don't like that bald head. I don't like them alt-right haircuts. You know, I need to see. No, that don't look good to me. He looked like somebody that was in Washington D.C. on January 6th. I'm just saying.
Well, he do look like he was out there in January 6th, running up the, scaling up the Capitol building like he's like Spider-Man or something. Yeah, he do got that off-right look. But you know, brother, back in 2000 and back in 2006, the FBI came out with a scaling document report that they believe that the police departments and military in this country and other institutions in this country have been infiltrated by these white nationalist groups, the groups that they have infiltrated themselves into all levels of society. And this is why what they're going to tell you in Grand Rapids, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, is what they always tell us. Oh, we got to spend more money on training. If someone is a white supremacist, if someone is a white nationalist, and it's their belief culturally that they think that they are supreme, you can't train anything out of them. Because I'm 52 years old. I've been hearing about police training since I was a teenager. And since I was a teenager, ain't nothing changed.
Nothing.
They said, well, let's have community policing where we have the police walk in the community. Okay, it's effective to a certain degree when that police officer comes from that particular neighborhood and he knows the people already. But however, with all the money that has gone into training, I want somebody to answer this question. Why is it that with all that training sensitivity training, cultural training, whatever you want to call it. Why is it that police continue to keep killing black people? Whether they think we're from America or from another country, it doesn't matter. They see your black skin before they see anything else. And I sat up here maybe last year and did a video talking about how when police officers have bad encounters with young black kids, they are more likely to have bad encounters where they take the lives of black men. So what the study was saying is that black youngsters, when these cops have bad encounters with our kids, when our kids are 9 and 8 and 7 years old, they are more likely to have a bad encounter with us as grown men and harm us. There was a study where they actually interviewed and did study questions with cops, lots of them. And they said that the reason why they're shooting us like they do is because their encounter with us starts when we're very young.
Right.
And see, black immigrants who come over here from the other parts of the world, they don't understand that issue because they're simply fleeing away from their country to come over here for a better life. And they're completely blindsided by the history of policing as it relates to someone with their skin.
So, and what you have obviously with this situation, because any situation is isolated unless they're two very similar situations, but this situation, it's going to be more polarizing because they're going to really play into them being African immigrants, them being here only 8 years, him maybe not knowing things. But if you've picked the video apart enough, and if you've seen other images of Patrick online, Patrick in just 8 short years was very, very Americanized.
Yeah, let's look at a picture right here. You can see right here, he's got the,
Yeah.
He
now,
look
you
at
can take that brother, and you can take that picture, and you can put that picture in Grand Rapids. You can put that picture in Kalamazoo, Benton Harbor. Well before you get to Detroit, you can go to Flint, you can go to Lansing. Hell, you can come to Ann Arbor with that picture. He looked like
to me. Let me put another picture up. He looked like a brother, and let me enlarge myself. He looks like a brother from hell, I lived in Oakland. He looked like a brother, like he could be from Oakland, California. You know what I'm saying?
He looked like he's getting it. He looked like he's getting it, like he's outside, right?
Right.
He
got the gold chain. He got the turtleneck. He looked like he could be from New York. He could be from Chicago. He could be from a brother from Oakland, Atlanta, Georgia. He look on here. You look at him and you say, "Oh, okay, he Black American." He got ancestry off the plantations. You know what I'm saying?
He looks like he is the quintessential Negro. Okay, because see that look is what they think we look like when they come over here. They think we all wearing gold and we all wearing Cardis, we all wearing name brands and looking like billboards and shit, because that's the opulence that they portray to them. But they don't understand it. Most motherfuckers pass all that goofy shit, and we don't dress like that. We don't wear stuff like that because all you are is attention getting. See, you're attention getting. Now we can take that look, those 2 photos, and there's a couple more that are out there that have circulated. Then you look at what he looked like when the police first pulled him over. Looked somewhat disheveled, looked like he might have been up all night, or he got up real early and didn't have time to put his shit together. So my thing is this too. I don't like that faking and fronting shit, because that bleeds over to Native Black Americans too. See, we out here, we have enough of our clown shit. I get it. But see, when they come over here and they want that swaggy shit, they want to make it seem like they got it. Bro, you just got out of a 2004 Nissan Altima. Okay? So let's go back to all them pictures that we just saw. And then he got out of a 2004 Nissan Altima. I think it's about 2004, maybe a 2006. Okay, at best. Dude, and he's saying you got a fucked up plate? So you got a car that's 18 to 16 years old, possibly. You got a fucked up plate on it. You don't look as cool, nearly as cool as you looked in all them photos. They say he got 2 little children. He done lived a life in 8 years of being in America. He done lived a life. Now, I'm sorry, but you've only had two cycles to get driver's license in America, and you supposed to be, obviously, I think his paper was fucked up, and see that's a problem. Because
I do believe that his paper was a little suspect. Let me read this here. She says, with this particular situation, I don't feel the cop was wrong. This is where the cop was wrong, in my opinion. Sure. I just don't think if someone is running. Remember, what's that brother in South Carolina who got shot in the back? Scott was his name. Walter Scott got shot in the back on a routine traffic stop where I guess he had child support that he owed and he started running. If you run away from a cop and you have no weapon and you're not trying to shoot the cop while you're running, but you're just running, you don't pose a threat at that point in time. So this is where I think it got escalated because he chased him. And of course, yes, I'm going to be honest. Yes, Patrick grabbed the stun gun. You can make an argument that he shouldn't have put his hands on the stun gun. Maybe he put his hands on the stun gun because he didn't want to feel the sting of that gun. Who knows? But I just feel that the cop could have called his backup. And even if that man ran down the street, he had two guys in the car who stayed in the car the whole time. Most of the time before they got out when he fatally took his life. And he could have questioned them to get more information to find this man eventually. Because he had the car. He had he had the video on his webcam to know what the man looks like. So I just don't think it was worth it to chase a man around like that. The family lost a son, so I don't want to set up here. And thank you for that super chat. Let me read Glorion Murray's super chat. I don't want to be indifferent to the family and be unreverent because they have lost a child. And where's that super chat at? I want to read that super chat that she sent me.
And if I don't for that, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
So that series of videos that I sent you, that compilation of videos, and one part of the video, it actually showed the beginning of the traffic stop. A lot of people haven't seen that. They've only seen the scuffle, or they might have only seen a few seconds leading up to where the camera went blank, and then they didn't see that. But the traffic stop started with that policeman's vehicle turning around in someone's driveway. Now, I've been stopped a number of times in my life. I don't know if you have or not, but I've been stopped a number of times in my life. And the type of stop this was about as profiling as you can get.
Yeah, he profiled him. Yeah, I've been profiled before.
Absolutely. Patrick's car was going one way on the street. The police car was going the other way. And when he saw Patrick pass him, he pulled into a driveway and he turned around and then he got behind Patrick. My first problem with that is it's 8:14 in the morning. I'm not sure why you're so keyed up. Why aren't you on the way to get your first or second donut and coffee? I don't know. The second thing I have a problem with is, how'd you know that plate was bad so quick? Because when you look at it in real time, and him backing into the drive or pulling into the driveway and backing into the street and then pulling Patrick over, we're talking less than 30 seconds. Now, I know they took a lot of that video and muted it, but real time, if he ran that plate and knew that plate didn't belong to that vehicle, then he should have at least knew who the person that owned that plate was. Why didn't he get out of that car and say, hey, are you Patrick Lyoya? Is this plate registered to your name? Or who's this plate registered to? Have him prove that. He got out. I understand why he got out the way he got out, because Patrick got out of his car first. That was wrong. We've already discussed that. But you got out based on a plate, not suspect in a robbery, not looking for a brown or bronze Nissan Altima to solve a crime. You saw him driving down the street and you didn't have shit else to do. So you pulled in a driveway, spun around and got behind him. And that's where it came from and said, that plate's not registered to that car. Now, I don't know if we'll ever find out whose plate that really was, if it was Patrick's plate and he just had it and he transferred it from another car or whatever. That's irrelevant at this point, because that's what the basis of his stop was. Why the fuck you chasing somebody around over a bad plate?
Right.
If Patrick got to running, I let his ass run all the way down the street. I got his vehicle. I got the two dudes in the vehicle. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you. I think he probably was profiling him the whole time. Probably saw him coming out the house wherever he probably watched him for a while. Right. And then I know I did see the footage when Patrick's car made that right turn, then he made a right turn, and that's when he stopped him. So this was a profiling. Let me just do a little reminder. Originally, I got a super chat from To Love Myself 100 $10 super chat. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you for the
Thank you again for that super chat. It was a super sticker by To Love Myself. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. And then let me go over to Glorion Murray, who gave me another super chat. And she says here, what most people don't know, even if a cop turns off their body cam, the footage is still being recorded. Once it turned on, it takes about 5 to 6 minutes for the body cam to completely shut off. Okay. All right. I'm going to show the video. And we got True Green Bread in the house. We got Tiffany Jackson. We got AKA MM Fan 3 is in the house. Thank you for being here. And we got my man Stephen Gilmore. Make sure y'all check out Stephen Gilmore. This brother's got a lot of wisdom. I subscribed to his channel yesterday. He subscribed to both my channels, the Information Media Live. Make sure you subscribe to Info Media Live. I have it at the top of the chat room. Subscribe to that channel. I want those numbers to go up over there as much as possible. You'll learn a lot about YouTube and a lot about if you want to be a content creator yourself, or if you're just kind of curious with the things that we do. Gloria Murray is in the house again. Brother Keith Weston, who also gave me a great super chat as well earlier. We got a lady 747 in the house. Indian Exposed Investigation. Jason, Tiffany Jackson, a real Aaron Collins, Old Reliable, Mickey Bricks 2.0, Black Nation. Let me see who else I'm missing. Deborah Guns, Black Nation again. True is in the house as well from Haps. All right, True. We got Shaka in the house. What's going on, my brother? We got Deborah Guns, who's been coming over supporting me pretty strong lately, and I appreciate that. And everybody, we got a long-time supporter of the program, and that's my man, King Wage. Thank you. All right, King Wage out of Oakland, California. We got Darren Hilton's in the house. Thank you for coming over. We got I Am She, who came over and said that she kind of agreed with what the cop. I have a question about that. Yeah. She says she has to agree with the cop. Like,
okay. I feel the cop was wrong. She doesn't feel the cop was wrong in shooting him, or she doesn't feel the cop was wrong in shooting him.
Yeah, let's clarify that. Do you think do you think that the cop was not wrong in his procedure of stopping him, chasing him, and pulling out his taser, which is the taser is the most unlethal use of force, according to what they say now? Or do you think he was right in doing everything he did? Because where I believe he was wrong was shooting him in the back of the head. And personally, I think he was wrong to chase him down because he had everything he needed to catch this man. Again, he had the car. He had the two friends who were basically in the car until they got out to film what was going on. Eventually, once he shot him in the back of the head. So we got to look at that. We got Ann is in the house. Thank you for being here. I just want to give everybody some love. TNBN, thank you for being here. Earl Owens has been following me for a long time. Thank you as well. King Wage says this: if I ever have kids, the first face my baby should be seeing coming out of the womb should be a sister's face. Very interesting. Oh, we got Black Anonymous in the house. Thank you for being here. Black Anonymous said this: I don't think they feel superior to black people. Why would you have to kill someone you actually thought were inferior? What threat could a inferior person pose? That's a very interesting way to look at it. If we are inferior, why would you shoot someone that's inferior? My answer to that is that the bottom line is to exterminate us, to get us off of the earth, because they know that we do pose a threat to do great things. So you want to exterminate those that you feel you're better than, but deep down inside psychologically, you know that we are more stronger, we're more intelligent. And if we ever get our stuff together and come together, unite under a solution, and we do stuff right, now we become a threat to the status quo of this country. So for years and decades, they have always taken our lives because they know the potential that we have over them. That's the point.
Can I chime in on a Black Anonymous?
Yes.
So it says, I don't think they feel superior to Black people. I have to disagree, because I do think that most, not some, not all, but most Caucasian people feel superior to Black people. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? If I had a 400-year head start that they had, because I've seen a lot of people have a 400-year head start and they didn't do shit with it. I get it. But for the most part, most white people feel superior to Black people because there's no other way for them to live. They don't know how to feel inferior. They've never not won. They only win. So I just lost it. You moved on from her. But it said you didn't feel inferior. And then why would you shoot? I think it said, why would you shoot someone that's inferior? Because you don't respect them.
Right.
It's not that they don't.
What's going on, Lil Rock 2517? No, you're right. You're right.
It's not that they shoot us because they don't feel that we're inferior. They shoot us because they don't respect us. And if someone doesn't respect you, what do they think of you? They think you are inferior to them. They think they are superior to you.
People do these things because they feel they're better than you. But I also, as I was saying before, I think a part of it, when you look at Dr. Welsing Cressings in her ISIS papers, she talks about the fact that Black men, because of our ability to produce children and produce children that look like us because our genes are not recessive, that we are a threat from a biological way, because like my man Earl Owens said in the chat room, a fear of a black planet. Public Enemy talked about that we have the ability to reproduce ourselves with any race that we're with, and particularly the fear of us coming together that can put us on top. So therefore, you make us think that we're inferior by you trying to impose your power over us. And then the goal is to exterminate us so that we can't go around and produce, right? If you're concerned about your genetic survival. So that plays into it as well, my good brother.
This has nothing to do with whether they like us or not. That's why they try to damage us and they try to get us before we're 30. And if they can't get us before we're 30, they try to get us before we're 40, because those are our most reproductive years. Those are our most productive years on the planet. And they know if they can cut us down early, and they don't have a problem with cutting teenagers down. Absolutely not. But they really try to get us because they want to see which way you're going to go. See, they don't cut us all down. You got to understand, there's a lot of old Black people that live because they never skirted the line. They stayed on the other side. And yes, a boss, and yes, and they had that type of spirit. I get it. They'll live long. They'll live a long time. It's the people that go against the grain. That's the ones. And if I was reading somewhere, and I still haven't looked up Medgar Evers, but they talked about how they cut Martin down at 39, cut Malcolm down at 39. If I'm not mistaken, I thought they said that Medgar was 39, but there was another.
He was in his 30s. That's where they cut us.
They cut us down before we hit 40 because something happens with the Black man that once he hits 40 years old, he kind of hits a fork in the road. And if he's got the shit going the right way, he's dangerous. He's absolutely dangerous to white society, because now, just like look at Martin. Martin graduated from high school at 16. Martin graduated from high school at 16. He had his damn master's at what, 22? Martin was dangerous as fuck. He was dangerous, but he chose to live his life a certain way. Just think if he did all of that and then joined the Nation of Islam, how dangerous he was.
Right, and let's mention this. This put this in a nutshell right here. Black people are the only groups of people in this country who had a Holocaust put on us. In the modern times, well, let's see. We had the Tulsa, Oklahoma circumstance in which they massacred a Black community in 1921. They bombed that community from the air with planes. Then you had Rosewood. You had tons of other revolts and fighting that took place where they took the lives of black people and black people had to revolt, right? During slavery, you had slave revolts all over the South that they don't talk to you much about. Of course, you had revolts on those ships when they brought black people over from Africa on those ships, even though there are people on YouTube who believe we didn't come from Africa, that slavery didn't exist. And that's goofy. It did. It was a real situation that did take place. OK, now, in today's time, we had the move situation in Philadelphia where they burned down homes where black people died in some of these homes. So we're the only group of people who have ever had bombs, literally have been bombed upon in our communities. No other group. And once again, black immigrants, when they come over here, sometimes they don't understand why black people have the chip on our shoulders that we do, because once again, they don't understand our history. And because they don't understand our history, they are shocked when something like this happens to them, like what happened to Patrick. Now, let's get into the video right now. The first video I'm going to put up right now. And let's do that right here. This is what Patrick.
Hey, stay in the car. Stay in the car.
What's going on, Sister Michelle?
Get in the car. Dude, I'm stopping.
Thank you for coming over, Michelle.
Do you have a license? Do you have a license?
For what?
I'm stopping you. Do you have a license?
What that?
Do you have a driver's license? Do you speak English?
Yes.
Can I see your license?
What that is on?
The plate doesn't belong on this car.
He's already got his pants hanging down.
Do you have a driver's?
So you can see he's gotten Americanized because brothers, please keep your pants up. Stop wearing your pants below your behind like you've got a bowel movement. This pants below your behind comes out of the prison system. But let's continue to play this.
License.
Yeah,
where is it at?
It's in the car.
Get it for me.
What that is on?
The plate does not belong on this car.
Let me. Grab me my right right there. Right there.
I don't think he has a license plate, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, a license, because he never got his license.
No. Stop. Put your hands right. Stop. 1915. You got one running. Northbound. Stop. Stop. Stop.
Okay.
Stop! Stop!
Okay.
Get your hands behind your back!
Okay.
Hands behind your back!
Okay.
Get your hands behind your back! 1950, service more cars.
Okay.
Stop!
Okay.
Stop resisting!
I hear you, Jackson. I know. I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Jackson. From Facebook. Jackson from Facebook.
I'm not doing to you.
Let go of the taser!
What's the problem?
Let go of the taser!
Okay, the body cam. Let me stop that right there. So at that point, the body cam turned off at 8:14 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. A new recording started at 8:22 a.m. You're also going to see, hopefully I got this footage where you have the guys that were in the car with him. I believe they pulled their cell phones out And at that point in time, they're filming and telling the officer, you don't have to do what you're doing. And eventually, when the officers did shoot him in the head and he backed off of them, you can hear the officer saying, get back, get back. And the guys that were in the car with Patrick, they weren't coming up on the officer. So the officer had to say, get back, get back. And you know that's going to work in court for him. He's going to use the argument. I know what he's going to use in court. He's going to say that he felt threatened. The question to you, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a vote in the chat room. Do you believe that Patrick Lyoya was wrong? We have Jackson from Facebook said that he saw it as, I don't want to use that word because it's legal. It's a legal word. It was that the cop just outright killed him. Do you see one? Do you think that, do you put a 1 in the chat room if you think the officer was wrong? Put a 2 in the chat room if you think that Patrick was wrong. And I'm not judging anybody here. I'm not going to call anybody out. It's not about judging anybody. If you think that Patrick was the one that was in the wrong, put a 2. If you think that the officer was in the wrong, put a 1. If you're just indifferent about this whole situation, put a 3 in the chat room. If you feel indifferent about it, a 3. 1 if the officer was right. 2 if Patrick was wrong. And 3 if you're indifferent. Let's see the rest of the video from here. A lot of 1s in there. People are saying 1. Oops.
Hey, stay in the car.
Oops. Let me move this up to about, I don't know why that did that. A lot of 1s. A lot of people think that the cop was in the right. Tiffany Jackson is indifferent. She's not sure. Okay. Let me stop it right there. Let me put the other video on from another vantage point here. And here we go. This is from another vantage point.
Hey, stay in the car. Stay in the car.
Nelson and Greg.
Yeah, we're on it. North, south.
One running northbound, additional units, Nelson and Greg. 20 round.
Carry some more cars.
1915, what's your location?
Oh, this is the one I got to send you guys.
location.
All right. Let me go back in here. So that's what we have. The other video that I need to send everybody, I need to show everybody, I'm about to pull through my system. There was one video that I forgot to show, and that's the video from the vantage point of the guys in the car. So I'm gonna prepare that right now and send that through my system so people can see that video. What is your thoughts so far, Freedmen Media?
So, and I apologize, y'all. Y'all call me eating chicken wings because we was off screen. So, when we go backstage, things happen backstage. And I seriously say the same thing. Patrick should have never got out of the car. But then as a supposedly a 7-year veteran, he knew in his head what he was doing. Nobody knew. Somebody said, why didn't he just wait for backup? He didn't initially call for backup, as he probably should have. Now, if you have that type of suspicion that this could be some type of situation where this plate don't match the car, maybe the car is stolen, this, that, and the other, you should call for backup from the get.
Right.
He didn't call for backup until Patrick, went on his 5-yard dash with his pants around his ass. See, that's when he called for backup. He should have called for backup initially because it sounded like he was going to be doing some engaging, and he's already thinking that this is possibly a vehicle that could be involved in criminal activity. So
yes,
why
sir.
wouldn't he initially call for backup? Because he knew it was some bogus shit that he was doing anyway. Now, I really want to, I don't know if it's ever going to happen because they blurred it all out. Was that plate hanging? Plates hang cockeyed sometimes on cars. I've seen police pull people over because they plate hanging cockeyed.
It could have been.
Pull them over.
Could have been.
He had no other reason to pull this guy over. If you're coming this way, you never even saw his plate until he passed you. Now, you saw 2 or 3 black males in the car. Okay, so maybe that was your reason for pulling them over. And then you see the back of the car, and maybe he caught it, ran it real quick. I just have a hard time believing that he knew that plate didn't fit that car in that shorter period of time. Maybe they do. Maybe they can catch that information that quick, but it just seemed weird. But then the other thing was, if he knew that that's all that Patrick was really guilty of at that point was possibly having a bogus plate, why are you giving chase to that?
Right.
Why are you taking your time out for that? And that's where I have a problem with that. As we saw, there was the other stuff, the stun gun thing. And the one thing that I have mentioned in the streams where I've talked about this up till now, Patrick never was on the offense. He never tried to punch. He never tried to retaliate or anything. So that cop could never say he felt in danger. Patrick was just trying to keep him from hitting him. He tried to push the stun gun down to keep it from hitting him. And he tried to, he thwarted his attempts to handcuff him, but he never was on the offensive because I think he probably would have died a lot sooner. He probably would have drew his weapon a lot sooner and just blew him away. But
you know that the cop is going to use the argument that he felt threatened because 1, Patrick got out of the car. 2, because Patrick grabbed his stun gun
several times.
And then the cop, when it goes to court, this is what the cop's going to, don't get mad at me, folks. The cop is going to say, I felt threatened. That's why I used force. And then he's going to say, well, when I had him on the ground, he struggled with me and he would not comply. And that's what he's going to use potentially.
Where they need to stick to. They need to break the video down. I'm no smarter than anybody else. And the only thing that I know is what I know from people that have been involved in law enforcement for decades. One thing about this, we're going to talk about the camera. We'll talk about the camera in a second. But the stun gun, I've talked to 3 people that have been directly connected with law enforcement that have used stun guns. They said that thing didn't even probably have an approachable charge still.
Okay.
Because he had utilized it so much and it didn't work on Patrick. Even if Patrick did hold the motherfucker, it wasn't no better than a cap gun.
Okay, Freedmen Media. Now, and I don't know how I missed putting this in my system, but now I'm about to upload the video from the vantage point of his friends that were in the car. That's loading up right now. I want the people to see this. And it looks like it's kind of even in the chat room. Some people believe that the cop was in the right. There's some people that believe that no, Patrick is in the wrong. There's some people that are indifferent to it. They don't really know which way they should go with it. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is from the friends in the car.
Put your hands on your back.
Don't grab him like that, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, man. I'm a black man too. I done.
Yeah.
Man, come on, man.
1950. Service more cars.
Okay.
No, he said he's good, but man, yo, what's up, man?
So I got Ben Crump on the case. So
Hey, man, get the key.
They got Monty Hall on the case. Let's make a deal.
Stop resisting.
Get the key.
No, he good. He not resisting nothing, bro.
1915, what's your location?
Man, get the key.
He should be able to tie Patrick up. He got his sweater up around his chest. He should be able to tie him up.
What did you do?
He's gonna pull this sweater up over the top of his
Why
head.
you gotta do all that,
and
bro?
totally
He good, man.
There go the stun. This is from a whole different angle, ladies and gentlemen.
You hear the stun. You hear the stun charges, right?
Right.
That's the second time. They say after you discharge that thing a few times, it doesn't really have a punchable charge. He's still hitting it. You hear power?
Right. He's still hitting that charge.
No, like he good. Like you can talk to him, bro.
Time Patrick got that damn thing, that wasn't nothing but a cap gun.
I want to just stop it right here. You notice that that his friends that were in the car, they never got anywhere close to the cop. They weren't cussing at the cop. They simply told the cop, you don't have to use such force. So you're going to see where after the cop shoots him in the head, now all of a sudden the cop is going to say, get back. What is there to get back for? Nobody was around his ass. Let's get back to the footage, ladies and gentlemen. This is on the Information Man Show where we get into it. We don't do in the window over here. We give you facts. We give it to you where you can digest the information. That's what it's all about.
Information is power.
Yeah. Like he good, bro. Like, can you talk to him like good? Like, can you? Yeah. Stop grabbing him like that. No, he good like for real. Yo, you hit him too. He got shit, bro.
Yo, call a taser.
No, he ain't grab no tasers. I see that.
Let's call a taser.
How many guys you got going?
Drop taser.
Everyone.
Oh!
Get back.
Get back. Ain't nobody near you.
He's good actor, boy.
Get back.
He's good actor.
Get back. Ain't nobody near you. And you shot him.
Nelson Griggs.
Listen to him talk. He out of breath. That's why he killed Patrick. He was out of breath. He's about to lose.
But wait a minute, Freeman. He's actually saying his name. So when they kept saying that they didn't have this man's name, the brothers that were in the car with him, they got this is their footage, ladies and gentlemen, and you can hear the cop saying his name.
They're not counting on them filming this. They didn't release his name. These brothers filmed this. And that's how we got his name.
Right. So let me move this back. I want everybody, and I'm going to be quiet. We're going to be quiet. I want everybody, when the cop gets on his phone or his little walkie-talkie and they're asking him who he is, you can hear him saying his name. Since they didn't want to give us his name, we're getting it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's play this again. This part.
I was just involved in shooting. Nelson Griggs.
Nelson Griggs, 7-year police veteran, $89,000 a year.
1915.
All right, let's get back to it. Like, all right, Freedom Meet.
Yep.
Hang on. All right, Freedom Media and everybody in the chat room, because some people might not have heard exactly his name, but give us the name Freedmen Media.
The race soldier's name is Nelson Griggs. And the issue with it all, like I said, I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with anything up to the fact that he shot him in the back of the head. If he says he had his stun gun, why didn't he shoot him in the hand?
Why didn't he shoot him in the leg? Why didn't he shoot him somewhere where he would disable him to the point where he would be able to finally put the handcuffs on him? Since he was so goddamn weak and he wasn't able to put handcuffs on somebody who he was obviously bigger than, he outweighed him at least by 50 pounds.
Right.
So he was out of breath. He had no gas left. He had no stun gun charge. He went for the next best thing in his book. And I'm sorry. If he's fighting you like that, cuff yourself and cuff him. You ain't going nowhere, motherfucker.
Right. That's right, Jackson. Over here on the Information Man Show, we go into it deep and live. That's why I had to get Freedmen Media on, because he lives in Michigan. He told me some things that I did not know that maybe some of you did not know. The bottom line is his name again, Freedmen, is Nelson Griggs. Nelson Griggs is the cop's name. Nelson Griggs is the one responsible for this in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now, when we were talking prior to going live, I think we had a conversation. What was it, Friday or something? I think it was Friday or Saturday. You said you had a friend or someone that you know that down there in that area or in Michigan who had maybe some intel. Were you able to cipher that information, that explosive information you might have for us?
So the whole thing is, everybody's like, well, they were fighting and, his camera went off. That could have happened anytime. That's not true, because these cameras are built for altercations. When they have these body cams on, a body cam malfunctioning is probably as likely as like planes crashing and shit. This is what they're built for. They're built for combat. They're built for police officers to go into combat.
T. Kelly, what's up, sister? Go ahead, brother.
One of the main things that he said is it all depends on the device to turn on and off the recorder. But there are devices that require 2 button pushes. I also heard from another police officer 3 button pushes, like 3 successive button pushers. We've got equipment in our house that, you've got to do that to make sure. Just like if you got an iPhone and you want to approve an app, you got to double click it real quick, not slowly. It's got to be a click quick, because they want to make sure somebody doesn't inadvertently say, oh, I didn't do that. I'm not paying for that. They want to make sure you do it. So you got to have successive clicks for a body cam to actually cut off. 2 clicks or 3 clicks. That's the 2 police officers that I talked to about body cams. Okay. Now, that one of the police officers was the other one that told me about the stun gun. He like, that stun gun didn't have no charge in it. It ain't like they got no super duper stun guns. He was like, he had been zipping him basically, to the point where even if the kid did have it, he might have been able to use it as a weapon if he chose to use it physically against him. But up to that point, Patrick never chose to use any type of offensive tactics. Everything that he did was on the defense. Now, with that body cam, he's on top of Patrick. Patrick's hands are to the ground on all fours. Even let's play devil's advocate, even though I don't like doing that shit. Let's say Patrick, in one hand, he's got the body cam. In the other hand, we can clearly see it's on the ground and he's got his arm extended. How your body cam cut off, bro? Right. You're not even engaged in any physical contact. All you're just sitting on top of him at that point. The body cam shouldn't have even come into play.
Facts.
But we can't see his right arm. We can't see his right hand. We can't see his 2 fingers that held that camera and hit them 2 clicks and cut it off, and then he blew his head off. See, that's the problem with that. They say, well, the camera went off at 8:14, came back on at 8:22. Okay. Because I've been saying like he cut it off and then it came right back on. But it came back on when shit needs to start helping. See, that get back. You know what also happens with that? Yeah, them cameras don't stop recording. But we also got them brothers' footage where he's telling people to get back. We also got the neighbor across the street's footage where he's telling everybody to get back and ain't nobody moving forward. They're going to look at him and be like, who are you talking to right here? Who is approaching you right here? When you're telling people to get back, were you going through some type of delusion because you were tired, because you were so fatigued and worn out? They need somebody with that same type of fervor like a Johnny Cochran. They don't need a Ben Crump right now. Ben Crump makes good deals for people. We don't need deals. We need justice on this. And the only way to pick this case apart is you got to pick that video apart. From the beginning where there shouldn't have been a traffic stop to the beginning when there was a traffic stop, and then to know that it was just a faulty plate. What the fuck are you doing chasing this guy around for?
Right.
I mean, just 6 months ago, think about it. Just 6 months ago, police weren't even stopping people for traffic stops because of COVID.
Right.
COVID had police officers mailing tickets. Now they back out in the street again. They don't let the wild out again. Now what happens? See, 6 months ago, Patrick lives because he's got a mask on, and that cop's not going to approach him. Now, it's no mask. He's dead. End of story.
Right. Let me ask you this question, because I think it was I Am might have brought this question up. And let me say peace to Fly Seas is in the house, T. Kelly, Black Nation, Back to the Basics, Chase is in the house, Ann's in the house, A Lady 747, Tiffany Jackson. Let me see, Ann. Jason is in the house. Deborah Guns, who's been in the house strong with us today. Darren Hilton's in the house. And then we got True. We got people over in the Facebook section looking at the program as well. I Am She, I believe, said, let me ask you this question. What if Patrick, because I told you, we said before, when you are Black American, when you're born in America, let me just start from this phase of it and then get to the main question. What do our fathers usually tell us that we should do when we encounter police, Freedmen media?
Well, let me be honest with you. My father wasn't in my life like that. I learned how to encounter the police by 3 women, my mother, my grandmother, and my aunt. My mother, she was a cab driver earlier in her life. My grandmother, she basically despised white folks. She was from Union City, Tennessee, and she came from that era. She's born in 1920. She picked cotton. And then my aunt, who worked at the courthouse. So I learned from 3 women how to encounter the police. And the main thing that they always said, roll your window down, have your stuff ready. That was what they always said. You never know how things are going to go. You don't know what kind of cop you're going to have. You don't know what kind of attitude he's going to have. And they didn't talk up a whole bunch of racism. I'll be honest with you. They didn't talk up a whole bunch of that because of where we were from. Even though we had a lot of racism in the town, they talked about how you handled it. If you did what you were supposed to do, everything should take its course. But if you don't do what you're supposed to do, it's a crapshoot. No pun intended, but it is a crapshoot if you don't do the right thing. So when they come up to the car, you roll your window down. He asks for your ID and all this, that, and the other. You give him your stuff. Let him go back. Don't do a whole bunch of small talking because all that can be held against you. So let them do their thing. Patrick jumping out of that car lets me know he ain't had no American training. And he's in America because he came to be an American. I'm sure they were citizens by now, right? They've been here 8 years. It don't take long to get their paperwork, right? 8 years they've been here. So he was an American citizen. So you trying to tell me you naturalized somebody, but you didn't tell him police laws? You gave somebody a driver's license, but you didn't tell him police laws? You let somebody register a car in his name, but you didn't tell him police laws? Yeah, see that? White people don't have to worry about that shit. Black people have to worry about this. When's the last time you heard about a white person complying or non-complying? Because if you want to say Patrick didn't comply, what about Philando Castile? What about Terrence Crutcher? What about Freddie Gray? He got shook to death in a fucking police truck. So don't tell me about who
they call it in Baltimore.
Who comply dies, because we die both ways.
Yeah, they call it in Baltimore because I got family in Baltimore. I was born there. It's called a nickel ride. That's what they do to you in Baltimore, or that's what has been the history, where they throw you in the back of the wagon and they shake you up in there real bad. And of course we saw the hurting that took place to his spine. So with that premise, now, not only my mother, but the men that have been around me, it was always make sure that you don't do any sudden movement, have your hands on the wheel, have your license, registration, all that ready. This is the angle I'm taking. The cop did ask him, why did he get out of the car? I mean, he got out of the car, and I kind of looked and said, wow, he did get out the car. Why is he getting out of the car like that? Because shoot, these cops have these trigger fingers. I'm surprised he didn't try to pop him off right there when he got out of the car, right? And then he asked for the license and stuff like that. And then of course he looked like he was asking his friends, and I didn't understand why didn't he finally get his damn license when the cop asked him for the license. He didn't even look to get it. He talked to the guys in the car, and it looked like he was going to walk around the car, and that's when the cop got triggered by that. and then and triggered in the sense that that's when the cop got more aggressive with him.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely did. My thing is this. My thing is this. I can't say because I don't know what they went in what they dealt with in the Congo. So when he shut the car door, that let the police officer know you're not getting any driver's license. And at that point, if I'm not mistaken, because I've seen the video so many times now, but if I'm not mistaken, the police officer chose to engage with Patrick, like kind of like pushed him up against the car. I think he was going to do like, put your hands on the car type of thing, and Patrick kind of slipped him. Well, once he closed that door, because all we got right now is failure to show ID and a possible bad plate on a car. I'm still not chasing you. Because one, you're outnumbered. There's 2 people in the car and you got 1 outside. He paid so much attention to Patrick, it almost let me know he had no fear of who was in that car. Because you know what they usually do? They usually make everybody get out and sit on the curb. But he didn't do that. Knowing that other people are in that car by now, he never even said, hey, everybody get out of the car. You know what? I wouldn't say it's justified, but he might have had to do something just to get the ball rolling. Hey, I see 3 people to 1. I might draw my shit because they can shoot through the windows, leave me sitting in the street and be off. But he never had any threat. He never felt any threat of those people that were in that car. That's why I'm trying to tell you an inferiority complex doesn't necessarily have to come from, them thinking like, oh, we're just this. He didn't respect them to even enough to say, get your ass out the car. You motherfuckers might check me out. He let them sit in that car and only dealt with Patrick and gave chase to Patrick. Now, what if they do reach up under the seat and just mow his ass down on that lawn? We're talking about a 7-year police veteran who acted like a rookie. You don't let 2 potential assailants, if they are miscreants, who sit in a car, stay there while you give chase to somebody else? Are you fucking crazy? Not this police chief, because this police chief got his own set of problems. But if I'm a police chief, I'm cringing, knowing that you let 2 individuals out of your sight while giving chase to somebody else just because he ain't gave you his ID, just because he's got a fucking plate that might not be matching the car. You a dumb motherfucker. You could have got everybody blew up. You could have got a house blew up. They could have got to spray in a house. Anything just to get up out of there. Rookie ass moves. He needs bracelets and he needs a small room to think about shit for several fucking years.
Okay, let me ask you this question. What's going on, brother Rob? And we got Shannon Kim. Let me ask you this question. Because this was I Am She had brought this up. What do you think would have happened if Patrick would have never gotten out of his car, stayed in the car, waited for the officer to come to the car and ask for license and registration? Now, obviously, you can see on the footage right here, when he asked the man for his license, you can see he's walking around and the officer grabs the shirt. And now he's struggling, as you can see. Here's the struggle. Here comes the run. Hey, here comes the run around the side. It's obvious that, see, they're falling on the ground there. There's a struggle.
He started calling for backup. When they bent third base, he started calling for backup.
Right, but the question is, he asked Patrick for the license and all of that. Patrick opened up the door. He started talking to his friends. I guess maybe he was telling them, can you hand me my license? Although, personally, I always thought you would keep your license and maybe your damn wallet if you got a damn wallet, but that's a whole nother story.
Citizen. Stop thinking like an American citizen.
So the question is, would this man, Patrick Lyoya, would he still be alive had he, first of all, never got out of his car and simply gave the officer license and registration? However, this is the question. This is the bigger question, my brother. And for everybody in the chat room, this is probably one of my most polarizing videos I've done so far this year. Everybody, Freedmen Media, everybody in the chat room, everybody listening afar. This is the question I have, and I'm not saying this to say that it was justified, that the cop was justified to shoot him in the back and take the man's life. That should have never happened. My question is a question that needs to be asked. Did Patrick Lyoya, did he even have a license? Did he even have a license? Because he never gave the officer the license when he opened up the car door and said to the guys in the car door, I guess he said, can you give me my license? And then he started to walk around to the other side of the car and the officer grabbed him. And of course, he ran off. And of course, yes, he is an immigrant from the Congo where he's probably experienced war and maybe something triggered in him because of his experience being in the Congo where there's been wars.
Sir.
No.
Sir.
Let me say what I'm saying here.
Okay.
I have to finish my analysis. I'm not saying it's facts. I'm just putting out these thoughts that he's in the Congo where they have wars. Of course, the United States government doesn't give a damn about wars in Africa. Of course, they care about what's happening in the Ukraine. So he comes from a war-torn country where there is something, and I'm expert in this shit. There is something called PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome. So could they use that in his court case against the cop that, wait a minute, Patrick was moving the way he was moving because he might have been experiencing some kind of flashback when the officer came up on him like that? I don't know. But the question is, did he have a license? It doesn't mean he should have been killed. No. But the question is, was he even driving with a license? I'm going to stop right there and let Freedmen Media come in, and he wants to clarify some things here. Go right ahead, brother.
I don't know around the country. I know it's all different. Here in Michigan, we've got to renew our tags every year. I know. Every state is different.
Okay.
So if he doesn't have a driver's license, he can't. If his license is suspended, and if it's suspended in an aggravated fashion, he can't renew his plates. Now, with that being said, having to renew your tags every year, that's every tag on every car. Let's just say he's driving in a car that had bad tags on it. So to keep from getting stopped, he's thinking, as people who aren't from America think, oh, this plate is a good plate, but I'm going to throw it on this car. Well, that plate is for a fucking Oldsmobile, and you're driving a Nissan. They're going to peg that real quick.
Right. You're right.
The only way that's going to work is if you take a plate off of a brown Nissan and put it on another brown Nissan and keep moving. But if it's on a silver Impala, that's dumb. Okay, so let's just go there. But every year you got to renew your tags. Every 4 years, you've got to renew your license. Patrick's only been here 8 years. When Patrick got here at 18, that would have been his first 4 years, 18 to 22, then 22 to 26. He's only had 2 license cycles. So if he done fucked up his driving record in 2 license cycles, then that's his problem. Okay, I can say, once again, you ain't talked to nobody black, because you'd have talked to somebody black. They'd have told you they death on a nigga with no license around here. They death on a nigga with no license, no tags, no this, no that. They'll run wild on you. They going through your car. Because they got probable cause, and you got a bad plate. Oh yeah, we tearing panels off this bitch. See, that's what happens to Americans, and we know that's why we'd have kept our ass in that car and got our notice to appear. See, that's what happened there. We would have got a notice to appear, and we'd still be living. Patrick would still be with his babies today, and they would have chased around Easter eggs and shit like that. Because I'm sure
you're right. You're telling the truth.
All the American holidays on everything, because that's how they got here. They got shown the American.
Tell the truth.
You're right. You're right.
Patrick stays in that car. Patrick lives because he would have got a notice to appear, or they would have detained him briefly. He'd have got down to the precinct. They'd been like, "What you got there, Joe?" Or I'm sorry, what's his name? Griggs, whatever. What you got
Griggs.
Here? Oh, I got a bad plate, and he ain't got a license. Man, cut him loose.
Griggs Nelson. That's the officer's name. Officer Greg Nelson.
Officer Griggs. They'd have been like, what you got here, Griggs? He'd have told him he had a bad plate and no license at 8:14 in the morning. They'd have been like, are you fucking kidding? There's some
So the
kid
best
out here
thing
getting molested.
so if see, there's so many ways. There's like Patrick Lyoya should be with his kids today.
Sure.
Right? He should be with his, I don't know what kind of father he was. I'm not going to go down that road. But one thing we do know is he should have been with his kids today.
Sure.
Or with his family.
Sure.
He should not. But see,
What do you know?
let me ask everybody the honest question in the chat room.
Right.
Put a 1 if you agree with me, a 2 if you disagree. No matter what Patrick did, getting out of the car, not really showing the officer his license, running away, maybe trying to keep that, maybe grabbing his taser because he didn't want to be tased, but he never punched. You can see him running there. He never punched the officer. He never really laid into him. Even though he did all those things, even though he did all those things that we can make analysis about whether it was wrong or right, at the end of the day, did he deserve to get shot in the head the way he did?
Right.
No, he didn't.
He did not deserve to get shot in the head. I'm still on the fence about whether he deserved to get shot. But if he was going to get shot, there's a lot of non-threatening places that Griggs could have shot him. But see, he was spent. We heard it on the camera. He was tired. He was spent. And you know when you get tired and you get weary, you don't think clear. Now, this guy didn't beat him up, but he beat him off him for like what, 2-3 minutes. He was tired. That's like a heavyweight fight. You know, you dance around a ring and not have nobody hit you for 3 minutes. It's tough. He just tussled with a man for 3 minutes. And his only option was he felt like, you know what? I'm about to lose this battle. This is my only option. That's not a person that needs to be on the police force anyway. Because he had all types of weapons. He got a billy club. He got pepper spray. He got all kinds of stuff that he could have used before he went to his service weapon. He chose to go to his service weapon. He chose to put that weapon in the back of his head and pull the trigger. And then all while doing that, right before, let go of the taser, let go of the taser. He's building his case. Let go of the taser. He's building his case. Let go. And then back up, back up. That's all. That's a case builder, baby. That's all that was. It was a case builder. And his union lawyer, and I'm sure his private lawyer, he's gonna need a private attorney too. They're gonna break that down and be like, you know what, this ain't a good look, because you saying back up to motherfuckers who aren't even in existence, because there wasn't nobody coming forward.
Okay,
I'm gonna close out here shortly, man, because I gotta shut down things. And
well, hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hang on. I want you to definitely do what you got to do, but let me just say peace to TL in there. Sure. Let me get your quick thoughts right here. Here's Ben Crump. He's with the family. They go the father behind as the mother. I do feel for the mother. You know, it's a loss of a son, a daughter for a family is a very difficult thing to deal with. And of course, she is definitely going through some things. Of course, we know that Ben Crump, he basically makes deals. I'm not a big fan of him, but either here or there, he's been getting all the very high profile cases. It makes me wonder, is Ben Crump the only civil rights lawyer we got? My God, is there anybody else? Is it always going to be Ben Crump? I just wonder. But let me, with that said, let me let you close it out.
Well, and I don't mean to rush, but I know that we've had a lot of scenarios where you and I, like I said, we're very opinionated, we're very passionate. And if we cut the chat off, we probably have this done in about 45 minutes, maybe a solid hour, with just our facts that we know. But we've engaged in the chat and we've allowed a little bit of dialogue to come back and forth that's kind of thrown us off path. But I think we've gotten the gist of what we wanted to get out. But the thing with Ben Crump, and I'll end with this, I have a problem with Ben Crump coming in early. We don't have a good history when Ben Crump comes in early, a la Breonna Taylor's mama. When Breonna Taylor's mama got the bag, nobody got tried and convicted. George Floyd's family got the bag. Looks like 3 of the 4 miscreants are going to walk. I don't believe they're really going to get any prison time. I think they're going to plead all the way out and get several years of probation. But Chauvin is going to eat all of this. He's going to eat the state time and he's going to eat the federal time, because I think they've all turned stakes on it. Now, with that being said, Ben Crump has been at the center of all of these cases to make deals, not to get justice. He talks justice in the press conferences. He talks justice, but he's really not for justice. He's about the deal. He gets 30% of whatever the family grosses. So you got to understand, if they get 15 million, Ben gets 5 just for making a deal. We don't need no justice. I'm making a deal. So coming in this early, and they don't know no better. You know why they don't know no better? Because they only been here 8 years. And the person that they've seen the most over the last few years is who? Ben Crump.
Ben Crump.
Ben Crump or Lee Merritt. They've seen those two individuals support Black America or represent Black America more than anybody else. I bet you they don't even know who Johnny Cochran is. They only been here 8 years. If they know who Johnny Cochran is, they know him from the OJ trial.
Right.
That's the only way they know Johnny Cochran. They won't know any other prominent attorney, a Black attorney, other than these deal makers out here. And they probably think that a major political figure for us is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Right. That's all they're going to know because that's what they see.
That's what they see. And I totally feel for this mother. She should definitely be with her son. And his father. He should definitely be with his son. But they came over here under that guise. They came over here with rose-colored glasses on. And they were fed a line of shit that we don't buy. We already know what's popping over here.
Right.
See, what they need to do is make sure every Black immigrant spends at least 1 week, 1 week a month for the first 3 years you're here with native Black Americans. I'm talking about, what do you do? What do I do? What do we do? What do we do? Yeah. And then compensate the Black Americans. Don't make us no goddamn trainers and shit that we don't get no compensation. Because when y'all gonna bring them in here on us, the least you can do, because you want to call them Black Americans, the least you can do is let us tell them, here's the lay of the land here. You ain't gonna be able to do the same shit you did over in the Congo. But you see, they ran from the Congo from violence and mayhem, and look what happened within less than a decade.
Well,
less than a decade. They're Americans now. They're Americans now, bro.
Well, as I was saying, and this goes to what you were saying, the mother, I think the family had reported, I said earlier in the show for people that came in a little late, that the family was told that they would not have to worry about the things that they dealt with in the Congo, that America was milk and honey. No. This was a statement that was given to the, let me see this. I'm going to read this right quick before you leave. When Lyoya family arrived, oh, here we go. They face years of persecution in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They were told this, ladies and gentlemen, they were told, United States, that in America, there is peace, there is safety. You're not going to see killing anymore. That is what was basically a safe haven. So some of the immigrants,
when they got here, Trayvon Martin had just got killed.
Right, but you got to, I look at it like this though, brother. Maybe for them, not having to deal with being in a war-torn country where you got the military running rap shit, all over the place. Maybe for them, for some people, maybe this is a heaven because they're not under the siege as they are when they were in their country. But either here or there, the bottom line is, I think some immigrants like them come over. They have a different view of America as the place where they're going to make it. They can have success. And this is why, and this is not to come down on people that are immigrants, but this is why it's just been my experience that sometimes when you talk to people who are immigrants freshly here, they are very enthusiastic by being in the country because in their mind, America is a place where you can make something of yourself, no matter if you're poor, rich, or otherwise. And then when they get into conversations with us and we have a different point of view, they'll debate us, not understanding that we've been living here and have family that's been here over 500 years. So we got a little bit more better understanding about how this mother effer works. Okay? And this is why Black people in America born here have tried to tell our immigrant brothers and sisters to be very careful because this monster in America doesn't care whether you're from Africa, Jamaica, the Caribbean, Trinidad, Virgin Islands, wherever you are, they don't care. If your skin looks similar to our skin on this damn panel, they'll treat you just like they've been treating Black Americans that are born here, or Black freemen, people that are freemen, right? And so they don't care whether you got an accent or not. If you look like us, they're going to treat you just the way they treat us. Beware. We already know this, and we are prepared to know how to deal with it. Patrick Lyoya, unfortunately, had his life taken away, but because of his being here for a short time and being an immigrant and not really being born in the culture, he didn't understand the rules of engagement in our country when you deal with police as a Black male. Freeman Media, what are your last words, brother? I know you have to go. You're doing God's work over there.
I just want to thank everybody that actually has sat in the chat and gone through it with us. I'm sorry I wasn't able to go through the chat as much. The way I'm dealing with screens, I got our StreamYard screen on one thing, and I really can't see the chat. But then I was going over to here. A lot of great engagement there, and I'd really love to share dialogue with people. On some other levels. I think we could go deeper into this. We were really just trying to get out some information really about things that people aren't talking about, whether it have been the stun gun and the body cam and the need for excessive force. Because I keep hearing excessive force. Was there a need for excessive force? Well, absolutely, to protect himself. I'm not saying that the police officer shouldn't have protected himself, but he had exhausted that stun gun. He had exhausted any efforts to try to apprehend him physically. Going for his service weapon, I'm not totally against. I'm just against going to the back of the dome. Right. I'm sorry. There's so many different places you could have shot him and disabled him and been non-life threatening, but you went to the back of the head.
Yeah, I think he went too far with the shot in the back of the head. And I'm going to say, and this is just my position again, I'm going to repeat it again. I simply think that once Patrick started running, you're not a threat anymore to police. This is the same thing that happened to Walter Scott. He got shot in the back. He wasn't a threat to the police. Say what you will about George Floyd. Everybody's got their reasons about, oh, he's a drug addict. The bottom line is George Floyd never showed any threat towards the officers. He just didn't want to go in the police wagon or whatever, the car. But he didn't need to get choked out like he did. And Patrick Lyoya, even though I wouldn't have done something like he did, where get out of the car like that, because these cops are trigger happy. So in my opinion, I'm not getting out of the car to take a chance on getting blasted. I mean, we already saw what happened to the young man in in Wisconsin or Minnesota who got shot over an air car freshener.
Who was that? Who's out on air freshener? I'm sorry.
The young man who got shot when he was driving his car, and you had that lady, Kim Potter, who shot him.
Oh, that was Dante Wright.
Dante Wright. Same situation. Dante Wright. See, this is the thing that's confused. Dante Wright, same thing. Dante Wright was trying to go back in his car, and he got shot. This man got out of his car before the officer. So it's almost like we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. No matter what we do, any sudden movement as a black male, you are subject to possibly getting popped by these cops, whether they think they're going for a stun gun or not. And I
have to blame Dante's situation on a lack of knowledge from his father. It looks like his father was in his life. His mother was in his life. They didn't train him well. Dante doing what he did caused him not to be here.
Right. And of course, Dante
Potter to come into play because she wasn't even the first officer on the scene.
Right.
It's like Derek Chauvin wasn't the first officer on the scene.
Right.
So it allowed her to use her race soldiering against him. But if Dante had stayed in the car, chances are they probably would have took him away. It sounded like he might have had a little charge or something he was going to have to deal with.
Right.
Okay, but that's a lot better than you not being here, bro.
Right. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
I'm going to give you a clap. And then Deborah Gunn. Let me find her real quick. Let everybody know where they can find you at your YouTube channel. Yep. And I know your Twitter page. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media. Freeman Media. Absolutely. And thank you, Deborah Gunn.
I definitely want to thank you once again for bringing me on. I always have good things happen after I come up on your space. So I'm Freedmen Media on Twitter. I'm Freedmen Media on IG. I'm Freedmen Media, and you can throw in the Freedmen Media 1874 on YouTube, and you'll go right to the page. But generally, if you just look up Freedmen Media, I got enough videos on YouTube to where you should be able to find me now. I'm not big as far as subscribers wise, but I done did some work out here, and I stay on the same plane. I fly on the same plane. This brother lets me come up and do my thing, and anybody else that's out here that's talking this way, I want to fuck with. Because I can't fuck with them other people. You already know information, man. I can't fuck with them other people on that other side. We ain't doing that vote blue no matter who. If you ain't got no policy and legislation for me, I ain't voting for you. That's the way it is. But
let me let everybody know this too. His YouTube channel is in the description of this video. So if you go in the description of this video, you will see a Freedmen Media YouTube channel. And I think after this stream is over, I'll go back into the description and I'll add your Twitter as well, because I know that you do well over there on Twitter. He's also on Haps TV as well. That's where I met the brother at originally, and he's been on a few panels in the past. And but I thought that this was golden to be able to have you here. And can you let everybody, before you leave, what is the racial makeup, or what is the racial issues that go on in Michigan? Is it racially polarizing in the state of Michigan?
Very, very hidden racism in Michigan. People would make you think that Michigan is, it's all blue skies and trees and whatnot, but racism is very hidden here until it's not. Situations like this, until it comes out. And we've had our own situations around Washington County throughout the years. But the biggest problem is that people think Michigan is very nice, it's very docile. No, there's a lot of hidden racism. There's a lot of hidden racism, which is systemic. You can't hide something and have it work for you if it's not going through the system. So it's the system that make it happen. It's the systems that fuck things up. So these people came here. Like I said, I don't know how they bypassed all these other bigger communities, but somebody brought them to Grand Rapids. You don't just come to Michigan and just go to Grand Rapids. I looked at his father. I was like, maybe his father is some type of entrepreneur or something. He looks like a businessman type. So maybe he came over here seeking something, and that marketplace serves his family. I don't know. People generally just don't come to Michigan and go right to GR. Well, they'll go to a bigger territory, that's more fruitful that they can make way in. But it's just really weird that they're in GR. Maybe there's an African community up there that I don't know.
This is what I do know about in the immigration system. When they bring Africans over to America from the continent, they put them in the most weirdest places. So you'll have Africans in South Dakota. They'll just put them in the most weirdest and strangest places when they're bringing them over as refugees. So anyway, brother, looks like you are occupied. Hang on, folks. Let me let you all know. Brother Freedmen Media, looks like you occupy a little bit there, brother. So I'm gonna let you go.
I'm trying to close out both situations because I'm literally supposed to be done with what I do by 8:15. So I'm a couple minutes behind, but then I don't want to close out without closing out. So we're just give me 10 seconds.
All right. Let me let you all know what the rates are in California where I'm at. Black people are 3.6 times more likely to be killed by police than white people in California. Police killings per 1 million people in Michigan. Well, actually, it should be California. And then here's the Michigan number again. Same messaging, but different numbers. 3.8 more likely to be killed by police than white people in Michigan per 1 million people in Michigan from 2013 to 2022. So we're going to move forward. I appreciate everybody in the chat room while I'm waiting for him to come back, because I'm going to close this out and hopefully he'll get back over here to us. Let me thank Deborah Guns again for the $10 super chat. And Ann, thank you for the super chat as well. We got Worldview. We've got Earl Owens. We got Wow Williams 454. I got your email, brother. Thank you for the email. And let's get back over to Freedmen Media. All right, Freedmen Media. Say your last words, brother, because I got to close it out, and I want to talk to some of my folks in the chat room before I end the program.
Yes, sir. So we got to keep having these type of conversations, family, because I think we're our best healers. You know, we can't latch on to
Knowledge TV. What's up?
CNN's, MSNBC, and all these other news outlets out here. And there's some people that are either online that I think that are toxic for us to listen to. You know, you got to hear both sides of stories or multiple sides of stories, and before you just form an opinion based on Democrat and Republican or black and white and this, that, and the other. Because, like I said, I don't totally agree with Patrick.
Okay,
I agree that he needs to be here, but I don't agree with what he did. His methods of staying here on this planet, they weren't good, and he wasn't taught well. But that's a part of America, and the guys that America has immigrants living under, like everything is sweet over here when you get here. But once they get here, they see you get treated just like we get treated on those scales. You know, it's
Beverly
crazy
Palmer.
when you listen to him talk at first, I would have thought maybe Patrick was a mute, like, because he didn't even really form real words when he first spoke to him. I'd have been concerned that I was talking to somebody that was either a deaf mute or he was hopped up on some type of drugs.
Right. But he did say, Patrick did say to Patrick, do you understand English? And he said yes. But you could tell that English is not his first language.
Sure.
He probably doesn't have the best English skills. Who knows? We'll have to see. But brother, I'm going to get on out of here. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here, brother. I'm gonna get on out of here.
Yeah, I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you once again, but this discussion is long from over, because I'm sure that there's gonna be something in the next couple of weeks. They're gonna comb through it and figure out what whack ass charges they're gonna put up. And like I said, I hope Ben Crump doesn't jump right on the train of let's get this money. Appreciate you, dog. All right, I'll talk to you in a couple.
He is gonna jump on the train. I'm not even gonna question that. He is gonna jump on the train.
They don't need that right now, because it's obvious they're going to get the bag. It's obvious they're going to get the bag. But what's going to happen is if they take the bag before Grand Rapids settles the situation with the officer, man, that guy ain't going to get no charges. They're going to worm their way out. And like I said, I've got to literally look at why this police chief is so troubled, because they didn't like him at first coming to Grand Rapids, and he had problems in Chicago. Now, if you have problems in Chicago, what the hell Grand Rapids want with you? They can't handle you. And another thing, he is a lawyer. The police chief is a lawyer. And you look at him, you put his picture up earlier. He's a lawyer. Look how young he is. He really didn't live no life.
Right.
He got out there and saw that he wasn't going to be a good attorney. He said, you know what? With a law degree, I can climb the police ladder a whole lot faster with a law degree.
Okay.
So then he went through the police academy and all that, and then bam,
Mm-hmm.
he's a lawyer. So my problem is now he's going to work from the political end. He's probably already had a couple meetings with Officer Griggs and telling him, you know what, this is probably what's going to happen. You're going to have to go down this route, because I'm sorry, you were troubled in Chicago. They got you here. You didn't want to give up. It was all him. Why the family was fighting. They were fighting the chief. Now that I know this about the chief, I'm like, are they up on this? Is Ben Crump even up on this? Does he know that this police chief has a troubled past from Chicago, one of the worst police departments in our union?
Well, let's see if let's just see if it all pans out. I mean, if Crump is worth his salt and gold as a lawyer, you would think that he would do some background check on the police chief. Hopefully that will come out in the wash here. We're a long ways from there being a trial. You know how this thing works. We probably won't see this thing go to trial the next year sometime. You know, they're going to play it out. You know what they're going to do to Patrick? They're going to look at his background, see if he used drugs. They're going to demonize him. You know what they do, the usual stuff. They're going to demonize him and try to make him look like he's a bigger monster. And they're going to work up the platform, the mantra that the cop was under threat, and that it was nothing that he could do under the circumstances but to do what he did. And the fraternal order of police are going to wrap their arms around him, go with his story, push the narratives. You already have people now getting all wet in their pants because they caught the dude James in New York, And you got, people in the media now saying, okay, this is the reason why you don't defund police, because the police do a great job, right? Right. So you're going to see this whole mantra and support for this guy who I bet you they're already probably putting in money for his defense right now as we speak. So yeah, we'll see how it all goes, brother. So I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate you coming over, brother. Peace to you. We'll do it again, brother. You take care.
I want to be a part of that reparations discussion when you have part 2.
Yeah, I'll have to do. I already talked to those brothers about it. We'll be doing part 2 soon. Once I'm going to let a little bit of time go by because I want to be able to come back to see what the follow up is going to be in terms of how will they go about requiring people to prove their what are the systems that will be used for people to prove their ancestry, right? Their eligibility.
Well,
what systems will be used?
Stop doing is going on goddamn ancestry.com because they over here swabbing frogs and saying that they're human. So people need to stop doing that shit.
Yeah, I never use ancestry.com anyway.
Old folks and get you some old funeral programs and get you some old yearbooks and things like that, and follow your lineage all the way back personally.
Yeah. Well, actually, there is a DNA that's specifically for Black people that's not ancestry.com, that's more centered towards our ancestry into the continent. But the bottom line is you don't know if any DNA test is real. That you just, when all you did is swab your tongue, stick it in an envelope and send it somewhere, unless you go to a hospital and they taking your blood or whatever, they swabbing you and it's a real laboratory that you know it's going to, you really don't know, because all this DNA stuff is just a way to make a buck off of people anyway at the end of the day. But you got to do your research and find out what are the most credible DNA tests that are out there. So, brother, thank you and take care of yourself. All right, brother. Peace to you. All right, that's Freedmen Media, who was on with us, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm glad he came over to speak his piece. I want to talk to people in the chat room before I end this real quick, because everybody, you've been very hospitable to the conversation today. I recognize that people agree with some things that were said, and there's some people that don't agree with other things, and that agree with some things that have been said. You might agree with things that I said, or you might not have agreed with things that I said, or you might have agreed with what Freedmen Media said or did not. The bottom line is we're all trying to learn from each other, whether right or wrong. We're all learning. We're all sharing information. I hope that this particular program today did give you some better insight into certain things, because that brother is from Michigan. He kind of knows how things go on out there. Personally, I'm going to say it again. I do think that when you're in a car and a cop stops you like that, as a Black man or a Black woman, don't get out of the car like that. I'm not saying that to say that he was justified in shooting this man in the back of the head. That was wrong. But you don't get out of the car, because we're living in times where we can easily be shot. We know, and I'm going to put this on the screen again. This is why we got to be very careful. I don't want to say you should live in fear, but you should live in intelligence of knowing what to do when you're dealing with these officers. Because as I said before, Black people are most likely to be killed by police, 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people. You see the numbers right there. Hispanic people come down below us. Police killings per 1 million population. Hispanics are one step after us, and then you have white people. Okay, 1.3 times more likely to be unarmed compared to white people. So we are 3 times more likely to be killed by police than anyone else. And we are 1.3 times more likely to be killed. This was from 2013 to 2019, but it's still the same now. We are 1.3 times more likely to be killed, ladies and gentlemen, when we are unarmed, meaning we don't have a gun, we don't have a weapon. Guess what? Patrick Lyoya was killed unarmed. He had no weapon, and the cop could have easily just let the man run, called for his backup, waited for his backup, got those guys out of the car and start questioning them as to where can they find this man. And then they could have found him, arrested him, charged him for whatever they had to charge him for, and went from there. At least he would be alive. the family would not be mourning his death, and at least his 2 children would have their father still alive. I'm going to say it again to brothers and sisters who come here as immigrants. Please listen to Black Americans when we're trying to tell you how things work in America. Please listen to us when we're telling you the world that you really live in. I know it may seem better than the place that you lived in when you come from a war-torn country. I get it. But there are also other circumstances here in America that you must be aware of. So definitely when a Black American person who's born here tries to school you on a few things, don't get upset. Don't look the other way. Don't say, oh, this Black American can't tell me anything. I pull myself up from my bootstrap. No, listen to us because we can guide you away from some of the landmines that you can find yourself in. With that said, I appreciate everybody in the chat room. Let me read some names before I get out of here. Way behind schedule right now because I have some other things I need to do, but I'm going to read. TL's in the house. Frida, thank you for being here. A Lady 747. Worldview, and thank you for that super chat again. TL, Deborah Guns, thank you for your, I think you must be in the UK or something like that, sister, because when you gave me that money, it had that European currency look on there. So maybe you're in the UK. I don't know, but thank you. We got Natural here and just everybody here. Thank you. Thank you for those super chats. I really appreciate those super chats. We got Knowledge TV. We got Glorion Murray. Anybody I missed, I'm sorry. We got Variance Perspective in the house. Real Aaron Collins.
No drip this. Tell him run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell him run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip this. Tell him run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell him run it on. I 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number 1 up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip this, tell him run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch, tell him run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip this, tell him run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch, tell him run it on. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. Call up
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming over again. Worldview. We got Dream in the house. 1997. Black to the Basics. Wow. William 454. Everybody who came over, share this video on your social media. I appreciate you all. You come over every week. You give me support. You take time out of your own personal life. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep giving you content like this over and over again. Every time something happens that's worth reporting on, I'll bring people on for guest interviews. I'll do as much as I can to keep cranking out good content and getting right to the point and telling you the damn truth.
Tell the truth.
And I want people to check out the Info Media Live channel. Subscribe to that channel, especially if you're a content creator or someone who inspiring to become a content creator, because I'm giving a lot of good information over there. Check out the Information Man Speaks podcast. And by the way, that channel has been on dormant stage for a while, as well as my regular radio podcast. look out for new content coming soon on that channel and a new look on that channel. So I will be cranking out podcasts on that channel as well as my radio style podcast as well on that channel. I haven't done anything over there in a while, but I am going to be cranking new content on the Information Man Speaks podcast. You can find all my 3 channels on this page right now. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. You know how YouTube does. They suppress channels like this who are trying to give you the truth and tell you the real. So this is why it's important for us to share these videos, because YouTube's notification bell, it's terrible. A lot of people don't get the notifications. And today we had a good turnout. So with that said, I'm going to get on out of here. Knowledge TV, thank you for coming over. Mickey, Bricks 2.0 from the UK, thank you for being here. We got the 5 black comments that have just come in the house. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be bringing the 5 black comics back. The 5 black comics are coming back over to the Information Man show. We're going to have some more fun and great talk, great conversation. Make sure you check out their YouTube channel. They're in the house right now, but I'll be bringing them back over soon. We need to promote their channel, get their numbers up, get them more and more support. Those are very intelligent black folks over there talking about issues that matter to us. We are black media, not this stuff you see in mainstream, because they're not talking about our issues from our perspective. Today, I highly doubt if anybody in mainstream media is giving you the breakdown that me and Freedmen Media just gave you about this situation from the perspective that we came from today. I hardly doubt it. This is why we do matter on social media, which is why mainstream media is bringing their raggedy behinds over to YouTube, because more people are over here watching content. But guess what? We don't want raggedy mainstream content. Y'all come over here to hear from real people, people that got their foot on the streets, people that's going to give you a perspective from your cultural sensibility, from your age range, people that's going to open the door and examine it in ways that mainstream media is not going to examine these issues. I want to thank everybody watching who watched on Facebook, on Twitch. Those of you that are watching out there in TV land, what is that TV land? We're talking about Roku TV.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV. BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
Right. And I'm on there on Sunday. So everybody take care of yourself. We've got my man who came in the house. What's going on? Documentary Story Channel. I have to watch the watch the replay, brother. You will probably enjoy and get a lot out of this segment. Everybody got to get out of here. Thank you once more. And definitely appreciate everybody's support today. So let's get on out of here and do what we got to do. I'll be back with more presentation. You all take care of yourself. Peace.
Tell the truth.
Take care, everybody. Peace.
Tell the truth.
Peace.
Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you for getting that troll out of there.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you, everybody, for your support as always. Peace to you. I'll be back with more presentation very soon. Make sure you check out Info Media Live. I'll be dropping videos 2 times or 3 times a week over there. Right now, about 2 times a week. Should be dropping another video either Monday or Tuesday on that particular channel. And as I said before, I will be revitalizing the podcast channel, putting out content over there as well. at some point in time very soon. And I appreciate everybody who came out today. Peace to you.
You
Tell
are
the truth.
listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe.